like his whole personality is like the yearn. He loves
The
the
yearn. Oh my God.
yearn. Oh my God,
Oh my
love a
gosh.
good yearn.
That's a hashtag right now in
100%.
conjunction with the summer I turned pretty hashtag, like the
Yes.
yearn.
The
And they're all like
yearn.
buying the yearn.
100%. And that's what we've been sold as like
Yeah.
the ultimate love is like if
Mm.
someone can't be with you, but they yearn for you, that's
Yeah.
actually more important than someone who shows up, who's emotionally available, who's clear and honest with their communication and their feelings, who's like disciplined. All of that doesn't matter if they don't yearn for you. Hello and welcome back to a Woman Refined podcast. I'm your host, as always, Lauren Renee. And this month on the podcast, we have a little special extra episode that I recorded and I'm going to release straight away with Martine again, Martine de Luna, one of our favorites here. Martine and I are discussing the cult hit TV show, The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's showing on Prime, Amazon Prime, so you can view it there. I mispronounced Chris Briney's name as Chris Brinley, and I don't know why. It was late at night when I did it. So I just want to flag that at the beginning. But I think a lot of the other things we get right. We break down a bunch of tropes that are strewn throughout the entire series, and we analyze the relationships, and we talk about why you shouldn't date a Conrad and why you shouldn't become a Belly and kind of what's going on for these characters and how the propaganda machine is working hard to make us believe that the Conrad belly love, the Bonrad love, is true love, and how they're actually pushing that onto our kids as this is a healthy love and not a toxic relationship, which Martine and I both think that it is. We don't think it's a healthy love at all. Before you ask, neither of us are team Conrad or team Jeremiah. Personally, I'm team Cam Cameron, but we are definitely not team Belly either. We think that everybody needs to go and do some self-reflection and get their stuff together before they come together in relationship. But we also have some love and compassion for everyone's journeys. Everyone's just on a journey where none of us are perfect. I've dated Conrads. I've been a Belly many times. It is we're all learning and we're all growing together. But hopefully, this podcast helps us break down all of those dynamics and help us understand ourselves better, and also helps us to watch media better, that we can understand all the little bits of nuances, and we can watch shows with, we can enjoy it, but we can also watch it with a critical mind without being emotionally manipulated into reassessing our discernment as, yeah, that's healthy when it's very clearly not. Also, I'd like to say, and we say this in the podcast, but I will specify it again. This has nothing to do with the actors that are portraying these characters, or even the writer Jenny Han, Gavin Castellano, Lola Tung, and Chris Briney, not Brindley. I don't know why I said that. We are not casting shade on them at all. They're great people, and actually really phenomenal actors. Really, as someone who studied acting and wanted to be an actress when I was younger, I watched this show and was like, wow, these guys are really good. They do it really well, especially when you kind of research them a little bit and you find out their personalities in real life. You're like, wow, like props to these guys. So this is just about the characters and the way that we've been sold the love story online. So love for you guys to give us feedback on that. Tell us what team you're on. Tell us what your thoughts are. If it's changed your mind in how you view the show, if you want to now go back and rewatch it with a little analytical mind, maybe you want to take notes like Martine and I did, send us all your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. You can, as always, reach out to us on the DMs, or you can hit me up at a woman refined podcast at gmail.com. If you're listening to this anywhere, please, 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 if you could pretty please like the podcast, if you could share it, if you could follow it, if you could subscribe, if you feel like you have some time, leave a review. I would love that. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you get a podcast, that's where we are. And your feedback really, really helps the algorithm. And it also really helps me understand how to best serve you, the listener. So always appreciated. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy Martine and I chatting for 2 hours, 2 whole hours about this brilliant show and the relationship dynamics of the summer I turned pretty. See you next time.
Here we go.
Martine, welcome back once again.
Lauren. I know, right?
So good.
It's like we talk every day and we're like, this would be so good for a 100%. Podcast.
I was just thinking,
cultural podcast.
It should just be me and Martine. That's the podcast. Just everyone else is it's just extra. You're right. Not my co-host at this point.
I love that. Featuring.
Exactly. Special guest star.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
I could get on board with that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to release this one soon too.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
because
before the wave dies. It's got to
be relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant. Yeah. So, okay. Look, for those listening at home, what are we talking about? We're talking about the summer I turned pretty. The TV show.
The show.
Yes.
The buzz this summer.
Yeah. The show of the year.
And the show of the year.
It's 3 seasons. It's on Prime. And the 3rd season is the final season. They've just announced that they're going to be making a movie and it'll be released, on Christmas Day. And it's based off a book series by Jenny Han, who wrote the 3 books in the series, which are basically the 3 seasons, called The Summer I Turned Pretty. So this was like a cult book following that then got picked up by Prime and made into a TV series. And they have 3 stars in the show. For those who haven't seen it, there's Lola Tung, who plays Belly Conklin. There is Gavin Castellano, who plays Jeremiah Fisher. And then they have Chris Brinley, who plays Conrad Fisher. And obviously, as you can tell by those surnames, they're 2 brothers. And basic plot is, for those who haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you watch it. And if you've been living under a rock, and you've never heard of this, then maybe it isn't for you. But if you've been seeing this, and I'm sure you have seen it because it is everywhere, and you've been wondering, should you watch it? I think you should. And
especially after this episode.
Yeah.
The podcast.
I think it's important to watch these things with like an analytical mind as well.
Yeah.
Because as I was saying, the basic plot is there's this girl, she grows up with these 2 brothers. Their mums are best friends. So they grow up together. She's been in love with one of them, Conrad, her whole life. And then, the summer she turned pretty, they notice her and she ends up dating both of them. So it's a love triangle between 2 brothers, which is a trope that has been done many times before.
Many times
before. And, look, to be honest with you, in my opinion, been done better many times before. I think there have been some better versions of this. But, look, we give it a go. But it is definitely like the show of Gen Z. So if you have like a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha child, like a teenager. I hope
no Gen Alpha kids are watching this, though.
Yeah. Well, there might be a crossover point. You never know.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know when Z ends and Alpha starts. I can't remember.
Well, my eldest is in Gen Z. My youngest would be in Alpha / and tail end of Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So if you have a teenager and they're wanting to watch this show because everybody's watching it, we're going to run you through our thoughts on the show because it is programming. And just like we had our TV shows of the time, we had like the 90210s, we had the Dawson's Creek, we had, what else we have? Felicity, One Tree Hill, Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
all of
all
these
those.
things that we're totally
Hmm.
programming our brains as young women to view relationships and ourselves in a certain way. This show is doing that for that generation. And so I think it's a good show to watch with them and walk them
Hmm.
through what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So, what is happening online is that there is a cult of people who are obsessed with the eldest brother, Conrad, and
Oh my God.
wanting them to be together. So Belly and Conrad, which they nickname Bonrad. And the Bonrad fans have gone hard for this man. And it is so funny
Mm.
because for you and I being older, we've seen this dynamic
The
before.
note, we've seen The Notebook,
Yeah.
we've seen Titanic, we've
Yes.
seen all the, like all the classic tropes of this Conrad's character, of
Mm-hmm.
what did we call him? The tortured lover boy slash
Mm,
avoidant, unavailable
totally
alpha,
avoidant.
right? That's what I've been calling him. He's the avoidant, unavailable alpha, because
Yeah.
they've pictured him out to be like a doctor who
Yeah.
can be responsible, but he just doesn't have, like, he's not anchored in any of it.
No, 100%. And it
Hmm.
is like we've been programmed our whole lives to find this type of male, this emotionally withdrawn, like
Mm,
mysterious, avoidant
right.
man as like very
Tortured.
tortured.
Mm,
Tortured.
mm,
He doesn't talk to anyone, but
yeah.
just you are the one person who can
Yeah.
crack him open. Like we've been sold that so much that it's like
Oh, that the
healthy.
Troy from Reality Bites. That's from earlier in my generation,
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke's character.
Yeah.
He's another one. I remembered him while preparing for this podcast. I'm like, oh, Troy,
Yeah.
Winona Ryder and him had that toxic, we're best friends,
Oh, yeah.
like, but he is, he's basically a loser and he
Yes.
drags her along in his
Yep.
gaslighting sideshow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a tale as old as time that
Mm,
that this is healthy love, that this is romantic, that this is someone that you should be interested in, that um this is the peak of what you should expect from relationships. And it
right.
is so damaging. It is so bad that it is painful. Like it's so bad we've had to do a podcast about
I
it.
know. And we've had to do a
Yeah.
podcast where we're going to talk about like the biology around it,
Yeah.
kind of like putting our tinfoil hats on a little bit and talking about collective programming and all those things. But it's just hidden in plain sight, to use my tinfoil hat language. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we are promoting these movies, the two of us in our generation, kind of
Mm,
like I'm the tail end of Gen X, and beginning of the millennials, like you're in the millennial generation. It's like we grew up with this.
yep.
We were thinking, oh yes, like what's his name, Jack from Titanic. Oh yeah, star-crossed lovers, and
Noah on the notebook.
no,
Noah.
Noah in the Notebook, which they began cheating, by the way. Like it's all like there's like it's meant to be, and then you
Mhm.
go into the new age and there's this twin flame situation going
Yeah.
on, like it all piles on to be, oh, like this is my soulmate, right? The
Yes.
guy that I met and within 24 hours you had sex with, and
Yeah.
then the boat went down,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Not living in real life with that person.
yeah,
Like
living in limerence. Let's talk about limerence too.
100%. 100%. So I'm going to show everyone like the amount of
Yes, please.
notes that I took from this show. I
Yes.
had to rewatch it and
Yes.
just be
I
like,
have notes on my phone.
it's
So yeah, I also have like a bunch of notes here, point by point. Right.
we came prepared, people. So
We are
don't just
so
think
serious about this. We
this
are
is
so
not like
serious.
I've seen a lot of podcasts talking about the summer I turned pretty, and this is not one of those podcasts. This is a podcast that
Mm,
we are like seriously dissecting the relational aspects of this show and how it's directly going to affect the viewers watching it and
yeah.
what that means for your psychology and your societal relations within that, and then how that affects your biology. We're going deep.
Yes. And we're not going, I'm team Conrad and I'm team Jeremiah. None of that.
No,
We're team nobody here. We are team humanity and human brains. That's what we are, right, Lauren?
we're a team. God, no to any of them. And like
Oh, I
full
love that.
respect, I want to say this up front, full respect to the actors.
Oh,
This has
oh yeah.
nothing to do with the actors. They are
Nothing.
phenomenal actors. I will mention Lola Tung. That is her first acting job.
No way.
What a phenomenal
Phenomenal
actress.
talent.
And
Wow.
yeah. And Chris Brindley, like he is not that man in real life. He is like the goofiest, funniest, like
Mm,
playful, really not, he's really
yeah.
like a golden retriever in real life.
And
He is
and
not that
Gavin
man.
is a husband
Gavin is a
and a
Christian
homeowner and a
homeowner,
Christian. Yeah.
husband, and believe anti-vaxxer. Like he's
Yes, he's all the
conservative.
things.
He
Yeah.
reads Bible passages on his Instagram. He's not some
Mm,
big
he
bisexual
talks
player.
about he talks about Jesus on his IG stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all like big ups to the actors who are like portraying these people. That there's no shade to them when we're speaking of this series. We're speaking
Yeah.
directly to the characters that Jenny Han created.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
Where do we begin with Conrad first and then we go
I
to
was like, where do we start? I think one of the things we need to specify is that Conrad and Belly dated for 4 months when she was in
yes.
high school. And
Yes.
then she dates Jeremiah
In
for
college.
4 years, coming up on their fifth year. There is a line in the show where it's like, you don't know what you build in that time. Like
Mm,
Jeremiah is saying to Conrad, like, you don't understand like what you build in that time, in that space. You dated her for like this blip. 4 years of building something with someone, it's completely different.
yeah,
So
exactly.
Conrad's got they have this trope in the show where it's like he gives her an infinity necklace and it's like we're
Yeah.
forever. This is
Yeah.
infinity. Our love is infinity. It's like this epic soulmate kind of trope that they play out, and it's almost it's I think I wrote down here at one point, he's grooming her. It's
Oh wow, yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
he's breadcrumbing, he's such an emotionally avoidant person, but he plants all these little seeds early on where he's like,
Hmm.
you belong to me, but I don't want you.
Yeah.
But I
It's
don't,
that
okay.
that is my big issue with him, the breadcrumbing. It
Yeah.
was so toxic. Like he loves her, quote unquote, but he doesn't lead her.
No,
You
doesn't.
know, I mean, he just breadcrumbs her. It's super
Leads
like
her into tears.
yeah. And then there's kind of like this whole identity confusion about like who she is. Is she my little sister?
Ugh,
Or like do I love her? So there's a little bit of an ick there
yeah.
because they date in high school and I think he's a senior when they date and she's a sophomore or something like that. You know, not bad,
No.
not bad, but like definitely it's not the cherishing type of love, right? That
Wow.
somehow she and Jeremiah, somehow that was kind of nurtured, I guess, because they were older, they were in college and all of these things. But what I didn't like about Conrad was like what when he was in his like cave, and then of course, you know, we can give him, you know, like the benefit of the doubt because he was depressed. He was in a deep depression
Sure,
as well
his mother was dying. Absolutely.
because he's found out about his mom. But like, there's a there's kind of like something that you had to hold him accountable to as an adult. Like he was becoming an adult, so there was this kind of an ick of what he was doing to her,
Hmm.
right? And again, you know, maybe it was purely hormonal because he was depressed, but then Belly chases him,
Mm,
right? She chases him. His breadcrumbing like casts kind of like a spell on this young child who is
mm.
I guess she's
It
15.
was his 16th birthday. The show
Oh,
starts on
six,
his 16th
16.
birthday, and
Sorry,
he's
16.
18. He's
Oh,
18.
right, right, right. So it's like but she's still more of a child than
Yes.
she is a
She's a
woman.
very young 16. She's never
Yes.
kissed anybody. She's very
Mm,
like innocent. She's got a friend who's much further along that path than her,
mm,
who's kind of like encouraging her, wear this kind of outfit, just go and kiss
right.
boys, just go to the party, go and drink, you know.
Mm,
But she's very childlike still, very innocent. She's a very young
yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's you know, the things that I wrote, he's fucking miserable. And he
He
really
is.
is. He is
He
a
is miserable.
miserable person. Like, what a pain to be around. The thing about Conrad is he's always known that Belly has a thing for him. And it's even kind of mentioned in some jest. He's like, you have a crush on me? Like, we all knew. Everybody knows.
Mm.
Everybody talks about it quite openly in front of her, which is so awkward.
And
And
then the way she aches for his approval is
yes,
disgusting.
yes.
It's
And the
gross. Yeah.
mother, Susanna, feeds it. You're meant for one of
Oh,
my boys.
she's the worst.
So it's
She's the real villain here.
100%. 100%. But
God.
Conrad's had this, he's had Belly feeding into his ego since he was young.
Yeah.
He's very aware of her infatuation with him, which is, I would say, fairly normal for young girls to have some kind of dreamlike
Crush. Yeah.
infatuation with
Hmm.
people that they're never going to end up with. But that's part of the girlhood growing up, is to have this kind of
Mm.
like, oh, this swooning type of moment. But he's already been pedestaled by her, so that the
Yeah.
balance is already unequal when it begins. But
Mm.
he's not. It's not just that situation. That's like the basis of how it starts. Then you've got him being absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Um, because he's got some stuff going on, yes, but he
Mm.
is just like this very depressive type
Mm.
personality, and he is emotionally withdrawn. So he's totally avoidant in his behavior. He's emotionally stunted. So he has this belief of like, I've got to take care of everyone, and I'm like
Yeah.
the man of the house because my dad's cheated and left. So he's got like
Mm.
this trauma playing out, and I never want to
Yeah.
be like him. But yet he is actually being like his dad because he leaves
Yeah.
just like his dad stepped out, he's stepping out emotionally and
Yeah.
thinking that it's somehow not the same when
Hmm.
it's just absence and betrayal in different forms. And he's
Yeah.
doing the same
It's
thing.
just, yeah, it's just playing it out. And the behavioral signs of like internalizing the grief and, the emotional hot and coldness
Yes.
and how he can't express affection without shutting down. It is like Adam. I think Adam is the name of their dad,
Yes.
where
Yes.
he is the classic avoidant father,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Classic avoidant. And of course, like well, I do believe he and Susanna also pushed each other away in their own, way,
Yes.
because I do believe that Laurel and Susanna's friendship was like disgusting for marriage. Like
Friendship.
seriously. Friendship.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, this plays out on the boys.
Yeah.
And so the loss of his parents' marriage and then the loss of his territory, aka his mom, and the identity confusion about, am I the man? Because the man that my father's supposed to be is not here. So there's a part of me that does feel sorry for him
Yeah.
because he is not like aware
No.
of all of this inherited emotional dysfunction from his own parents,
Yeah.
right? And being kind of like almost groomed by his mother
Mm.
also,
Mm-hmm.
right? To the way that she talks to them, the way she talks to the boys
Mm.
is very feminizing in a way to their integrity, like as males. And then, of course, with an unpresent father, I mean, what could she do?
Yes.
She had to be like both. So
Yes.
she had to be manipulative covertly and unknowingly.
Mm.
And she had to kind of use the children as her like little chess pieces. And then Steven's just here, he doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't really care about Steven, right?
Yeah.
But like Steven, by the way, is Belly's older brother, who I
Yes.
think is Conrad's age, I
I
think.
yes.
Yeah.
And um oh no, I think he's Jeremiah's age. I think they're
Oh,
the same
Jared's
age.
age. Yeah, Jared's
Yeah.
age. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny because Susanna really manipulates with like, you need to take her to this dance. You
Yes.
need to take her over here. You need to step in and do this. You should ask her to go with you to this. She's
Hmm.
very pushy in that. And that manipulation I see plays out through Conrad as well. Like he's a
Yeah.
very manipulative person.
Yes.
And they're trying to make it come across like he's quite sincere and quite genuine. And you can see that they're playing that and people are falling for it. And it's
Yeah.
just not true. His behavior is incredibly manipulative, almost to the
Hmm.
point of being cruel. He's quite
Yeah.
cruel to her. He says things like, "Why don't you go look in the mirror some more? Why don't you what's there was some other thing that he had said to her. Like just throwing these little tropes out like, "Oh, do
Mm.
you memorize every little thing that I say?" Like
Yes. Oh my God,
just
I hate that one.
so
Yeah.
cruel and unnecessarily, but in that same line, he's got seduction. So it's like
Hmm.
she's telling him to stop smoking. And
Yeah.
he's like, what will you give me if I do? And then,
Mm.
she pushes the point and he's like, oh, do you memorize every little thing that I say? So
Yeah,
he's got this like hot and cold with her. And this is their dynamic where
definitely.
he gives and he takes away. He gives and he takes away. He's like, you can have some of this. Actually, not really. You can have a little bit more.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want you to have it. It's
Yeah.
so manipulative and it absolutely messes with her hormones, with her
Yeah.
oxytocin. And it bonds her to him because it's trauma bonding. That's what's
Trauma bond.
happening
Yeah.
here. It's not a healthy
Exactly.
love. This girl is being traumatized and psychologically manipulated by the person that she's pedestaled, been promoted through a parental authority figure that she adores as being the right person for her, her soulmate. And
Mm.
then she's locked into this emotionally avoidant, like secretive, really repressive,
Yeah.
miserable person who loops her into his trauma and just tries to like encompass her with all of the things that he is, but then is annoyed that she's drawn into it,
Yeah.
which is
And
so
this
toxic.
and he perpetuates that because if I'm looking at it from like me, I like to play with GNM and
Mm,
the biological laws and things. And there's a concept in GNM called constellations where basically your brain,
mm,
creates like a behavioral pattern so that you can survive the thing that you are experiencing as a
mm,
conflict. So obviously, Conrad not having been firm in his identity, like as an eldest son, like as an older brother,
mm,
and then also losing so much in his life, losing his father, metaphorically, losing his mom, literally. So
mm,
that sometimes the brain has to initiate a behavior so that you can deal with that. But the behavior, made him withdrawn and detached and, this emotional hot and cold, like you said, and he can't express emotion without withdrawing it
yeah.
again. And then he feels displaced. And, he just has so many triggers around that. And added to that, the pressure of being loved and chased by Belly while
Mm,
being unable to reciprocate because again he would be like what I call like the frozen masculine,
yeah.
like he knows his feelings but in his body, in his trauma, he can't access, and
Mm,
so the safest thing is to breadcrumb the little girl, which to her, she just worships both of them,
mm-hmm,
like to a point where she's a chameleon depending on who she's with. Like she's
mm,
emotionally volatile with him, but no matter how many times he breadcrumbs her, she's still like chasing.
mm. And he
She is still chasing for him. Yeah.
he really ties his happiness to her. So he actually there's a line where she says, "Oh, you're cold-hearted," and he was like, "Maybe for everyone else, but not for you." He
Mm.
literally links his "I can only be happy when I'm on the phone to you. I'm just happy." So he's this miserable person, and now he's hooked her in with like
Yeah.
this is like toxic, abusive relationship tactics 101, where it's
Yeah.
like you're the one who makes me happy. Like no, no,
And he's done that for 10 years, okay? Since she
yeah,
was like 10 and they get, together at 22. So you
yeah,
can imagine the amount of, how she has been like half her life.
yeah,
This is all the love she's known.
yeah,
And that for me
exactly.
is like the most like ick. And so I can't get on board with these women who are like Team Conrad, Team Conrad. I'm like, what? Sometimes in the back of my mind, I'm wondering like, what are these marriages looking like?
100%.
Because
And
these
he
women fawning are women our age.
yes, well this is the show is supposedly marketed towards Gen Z, but there's a lot of stuff in that show that is very millennial coded and is
Yeah, for sure.
very like there's a lot of talk online like why am I a 45-year-old woman totally invested in a love triangle of teenagers right now, like, and I can't wait to watch the next episode. It is
Because we watched The Notebook and we
yeah,
watched Reality Bites and we
so
watched
familiar. And
Titanic.
that house is like the most millennial house ever. Like
Yeah.
it's like every show that we ever had a house like that. It was a totally unrealistic house. But also they use our music as well. One of the things that I have written
Yes.
down is they use Kissing You by Desiree, which is the song
Mm,
from Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio
yes.
and Claire Danes when they look through the fish tank
Yeah, the
at
Baz
the
Luhrmann
party.
edition. Yeah.
Yes. And that is the most iconic millennial moment I think we have. Like, other than a
For sure.
Titanic, that is like everybody knows that scene, everybody knows that
Leo.
song. Yep.
Everyone knows
Leo in both of
Leo.
them. And he
Yeah.
looks like Leo.
He
Conrad.
looks every like the
Yeah.
bone structure and
Yep.
the hair and the eye. Well, the eyes are a little, no one has Leo's eyes, but like
Yes.
the hazel colored eyes and
Yeah.
whatever, right?
It's
Like
very odd,
down
isn't
to
it?
the T it
Mm.
is. But like I like Jeremiah's eyes.
Yes, of course.
It's
Absolutely. With
Gavin's eyes. Yeah.
Gavin's, oh my God, what a dream.
He's what a beautiful boy.
I know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so they use that song when, spoiler alert, by the way, they use that song when they consummate their relationship. And I thought, this is deliberate. This is
Yeah.
100% deliberate. You're manipulating us. You're wanting us millennials, you want to hook us in to this idea of like, this is the moment that we already have an emotional attachment from way back in 1999. We have this moment logged in our memories, and you're bringing that up now and you want to place it in here.
Mm.
So we are now
With
emotionally,
our children.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
And
it goes into like the whole, how they say every 20 years you just use the same programming
yes,
tactics. And
100%.
you know this, because you have been in like
Yeah,
the entertainment industry, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because his whole personality is like the yearn. He loves
The
the
yearn. Oh my God.
yearn. Oh my God,
Oh my
love a
gosh.
good yearn.
That's a hashtag right now in
100%.
conjunction with the Summer I Turned Pretty hashtag, like the
Yes.
yearn.
The
And they're all like
yearn.
buying the yearn.
100%. And that's what we've been sold as like
Yeah.
the ultimate love is like if
Mm.
someone can't be with you, but they yearn for you, that's
Yeah.
actually more important than someone who shows up, who's emotionally available, who's clear and honest with their communication and their feelings, who's like disciplined. All of that doesn't matter if they don't yearn for you. Just
Oh,
yearn. Like
yeah.
they really romanticize the yearn. It's like the same thing happens with Noah in the Notebook. Like he's just yearning and writing
Yeah.
letters all the time.
Yeah.
And Lon is the
Lawn
prize.
is, there's nothing wrong with lawn.
Lon is
Oh my
amazing. I
gosh.
will
I
marry
mean,
Lon,
I
please.
mean, there were problems with Cal in Titanic, I mean,
Yes.
in fairness, right? But then we also have to understand like the times that they lived in
Yeah.
as well. Same with the Notebook, like the times that they lived in.
Mm,
But again, there are if you are looking for like star-crossed love, then you can imagine, as well, like the how that will play out in like the day-to-day companionate love, if you can even get there,
yeah.
right? Because like this whole thing glorifies like the limerence type of love,
Yeah.
which is not really love. It's
Mm,
trauma bonding and, unhealthy attachment. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. And that's the difference, isn't it? Because this kind of relationship, as great as it is for screen, and as great as it like triggers up all these feelings in us, because it totally raises it, like the dopamine levels and the oxytocin levels for women, because we're like, oh, look at that, oh my God, he just loves her so much, but it can't be with her, it's so torturous, all of this stuff. None of that will translate into a long-term successful marriage. And so women are left chasing this style of relationship that will not be beneficial for them. If we continue to promote this kind of love as what is the normal and expected and ultimate healthy love, then we will continue to trick women into looking past good men who will make really good providers and really good husbands for someone who is not worthy. That kind of love just is not conducive to a long
Yeah.
term marriage. It doesn't translate into marriage.
No.
It's
It
just
can
such a
translate into romance, but not marriage. Yeah.
it's such a disservice to young women to brainwash them and to
Hmm.
propagandize and to trick them into thinking that actually this is what you should be looking for. And if someone healthy comes along, you don't want that. Just get rid of him because he doesn't yearn
Mm.
for you.
Yeah. People forget that the love that sees a marriage through is what you call companionate love. And
Yeah.
if we're going to go into the biology, that's when the two of you have like healthy vasopressin exchanges. So this is the exchange of like, basically we like to call it the problem solving hormone,
Mm,
right? When you are not always on a high with each other, which is kind of like what happens with um, Belly and Conrad. I mean, we'll get to Jeremiah, I mean, a little
mm,
bit, but like with Conrad, and it was always like up here.
mm.
We're no, you know, you're just like emotionally
Cortisol.
tortured, and cortisol and dopamine hits right with you.
Mm,
And then there was never a time for them to actually get stable, to defend, in defense of the 4 year pretty stable relationship that they had in college with his brother,
yeah.
which is, like the another side of the same coin, actually. But yeah,
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
And Conrad is quite he's quite childish as well when
He
he
is.
when he finds out later on about them kissing. He's like, who's the better kisser? Like
He's petulant.
he's very petulant. he's
He's
he's very
petulant.
immature for someone who's
Yes.
supposed to be this like
Oh my
really mature
gosh.
older brother who's supposed to
Yeah.
be above all this. He's quite childish, and he's so dismissive of like, and like,
Mm.
he's the one who wants you, I don't want you. And then like,
Yeah.
oh, what I said before, I didn't mean it. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? My 7-year-old talks like that, where it's like, I hate you. You're the worst mom in the world. And you're like, I just said that you couldn't eat a 15th cookie, And then it's like, sorry, mom, love you. That's the
Right.
kind of emotional instability that's going on for Conrad, where he's like, I love you. No, I hate you. I don't want you, but
Yeah.
I didn't mean it.
It's
It's so
disgusting.
childish. It is
Yeah.
like a child.
It is because again, let's talk about like emotional unavailability, right?
Yeah.
What happens in the brain when you have to resort to that? It's because a part of your brain literally gets shut off from being able to hold like the amount of sensation that your nervous system needs to be stable. And I mean, like I said, I don't blame the sons
Mm,
for being what they are because they had totally like shitty upbringing
yeah.
from their parents, right? And I mean, I've spoken about how I blame Susanna a lot for what
Yeah.
happened, right? But basically, like if only Susanna did not over cherish and under discipline them, I
Mm,
really believe that she could have taught them to be men. But she
mm.
was so caught up in like her own enmeshment, right? Um, with Laurel for
But
one, right?
she's just as bad because she lives in Fantasyland. Susanna
She
is
does.
she's
She's
an
a little
avoidant.
girl.
She's an
She's a little
avoidant. Her
girl and an
husband's an
avoidant.
avoidant, and her
Yeah.
son's an avoidant. It's like,
Yeah.
really, this is really, it's like psychotic.
Mm.
This family's
And then Laurel is
constellation.
in her masculine,
Oh,
like totally like, oh, she gets like every time I see her, my body goes like, oh, this, right? It's like a cringe. Like her guarded nature
she's
is just,
hardened.
yeah. And I don't, I never saw her soften, even when, there was that softening with Belly during the bridal shower. It wasn't like the softening of like my heart is open,
Yeah.
right? I think it was because Conrad talked to her,
Yes.
right? And
She has a
like
very
orchestrated the thing.
weird relationship with Conrad. Like
I
Laurel and Conrad,
know.
it's
Yeah.
you're my special guy. We
Ugh.
always talk. It's very
I
odd.
mean, it's not romantic, but it's also strange in that I never saw that with Steven and her,
No, that's her
right?
own
Like,
son.
what is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to Jeremiah maybe, if
Yes.
you want
Oh,
to.
there's one point I wanted to make about Conrad. And that
Yeah.
is when so there's this in season 3, there's this whole like storyline about him going to a therapist and like
Yeah.
talking out his feelings, and like he's learning to be better, and he's learning not to be so toxic. He's learning to talk, because can never tell Belly that he loves her. And so it's like,
Mm.
oh, he's a man now. He's gone to therapy and he gets healthy. There are some things that I think are really good,
Mm.
that he does, then you can see he has evolved from doing that
Yeah.
therapy. I particularly like when he says, "I'm not pretending for you anymore." When
Mm.
he says, "I love you," and I laid myself bare, and I'm not pretending for you. I don't like how he did it, but I like that
Yeah.
moment where he's like, "I'm going to be authentic," because he's never
Yeah.
done that, and that is a big step for
First
him.
time he came clean, first
Yes,
time. And then his personality kind of like stabilized because he was able to, go to California, do his job, just function. Because in
yes,
the first season, he was non-functional, right?
yes.
Non-functional at all.
Checked out
And
all
he
the
kind of,
time.
yeah, checked out. Yeah.
But he goes to therapy, and
Hmm.
everyone online is praising, oh, I love a man that goes to therapy. Oh, see, you can see how therapy like really helped him. And look at him now, he's so different. I am sitting there watching that going, that man just lied to his therapist.
Yeah.
You
And they do that. Men are good at lying.
therapy doesn't work if you lie to your therapist. It is an
Exactly.
insane thing to think that this person has now come so far through therapy, yet you are sitting there watching them lie, bold face lie to the therapist.
Yeah.
What is going on? Like that is like level 100 not well in the head.
And
If you
he
don't,
paid for that. He paid to lie
why are
to the
you going
therapist,
there? This is
right?
this is not
It's
helpful at all.
insane.
It's so many levels of not well that I'm like, it's
It's a cope.
multifaceted.
Yeah, going to therapy for a cope, just so you could say you did it,
100%. I've been to
right?
therapy. It's also like fix me, but I don't want to do the work.
Exactly.
If you could
Yeah.
just tell me how like not to get in trouble for being this way, so but I
Hmm.
don't actually want to change, that would
Yeah.
be great. That's kind of what I'm saying.
It's ego massage, right?
100%.
Oh,
Um,
Conrad. Ladies, he is not team. He is not on any of our teams. He is not somebody that we look up to. So we
no.
just want to put a disclaimer there. No, Conrad, no thank you.
Oh, I found all the other things that I wrote that he said that were mean to her. He was like, Finch is fun when he's making fun of the university that her
Oh,
and
right.
Jeremiah
Yeah.
want to go.
Mocking
And
her,
yep.
mocking them
And then he's
both.
like,
Yeah.
he keeps telling her, grow up, Barely, grow up. And then he
Yeah.
relax you, baby. like he
Oh,
gets upset, like
my
relax you,
God.
baby. It was so annoying. Um, what was the
I
other?
love that you got quotes down. I didn't have time to get any
Oh, I
quotes
was
down.
so angry. I was like, write that down. It's terrible. What I see online is the people who are commenting about Bonrad's
Oh,
endgame,
yeah.
Bonrad's the best. And then you open up the comments and you see this line, and I love this. I've seen this often. Everybody wants a Conrad until you've dated a Conrad. And then you never
Oh,
want to see a Conrad again. The girls who have dated a
yes.
Conrad, they know this is not it. This is not healthy. This is not love. You think Conrad's so great, date one. It's not fun.
Exactly. And
It's
many times, I've had women who are separated who are fawning over Conrad. And I'm like thinking, think of the guy that you separated from, that you divorced, and see how much of the patterning is in that man. And it's real. They're like, oh my God. There's one lady was telling me, it's like, I had no idea that my preference was the type of guy who would love bomb me. And Conrad was, it's kind of like covertly like that because he was breadcrumbing
mm-hmm.
just enough to keep
Yeah.
you hooked. But when they love bomb and it's like, oh yes, like everything, but it's so evident that the older women especially who are fawning over this young 22-year-old, um, it could be the template of the man that they fell for like 20 years ago and
Mm-hmm.
now they're no longer with,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. And
So
what's
it's
your
just
relationship with
fascinating
your
to
dad
me.
like?
And what's your relationship like? Father wounding galore.
100, yeah, 100%. Why do you find that attractive? What
Yeah.
you've obviously never experienced a healthy love if you find that attractive. And look,
Hmm.
I sit here and criticize that. I was that person.
I
Oh
know
my
you were.
God,
Yeah.
totally would have been enamored with a Conrad and have
Hmm.
dated a Conrad. Definitely. Like it's just it I'm not judging you ladies. I'm saying I
No
understand.
judgment at all.
Let me
Yeah.
help you out of the hole because I'm like I climbed out and now I'm putting my hand back in and saying, let me show you, I'll throw you a flashlight because let me shine some light
Exactly.
on this situation. It's not, you're not going to end up in like Neverland. This is
Yeah.
going to end up in emotional turmoil. It's really emotionally
Mm,
destructive for women to be in relationship with men like Conrad.
correct. And, take it from ladies who have been there. Like they really have been there because it's you don't know what you don't know,
Yes.
right? You don't know what you don't know. So take it from women who have dated this type and really ask, like the hard questions. Like, what am I not seeing? That's the biggest question. What am I not seeing
Yes.
here? What am I not
Yes.
seeing here? Because once you can ask that question, that because by the way, the ladies who have, well, two in specifically, who have said to me, oh, like I dated a Conrad, they're no longer with those people.
Yeah.
No
That's
longer,
not that's
right?
not a forever love as much as you want it to
No,
be.
it's not. It's a lot of it is like trauma bonding, or if it's short term, it's limerence,
Mm,
So
yeah.
we have to be discerning, like ladies. These are, what entertainment has used is not embodied like healthy love. And we have to stop giving our power to Hollywood,
Yeah.
to grooming us, grooming us and making us believe that this is okay.
It would be fine to show it if it that was an end game. If the end game was her realizing that,
Right.
and it was like, cool, this whole show was actually a really great lesson, you know?
Yeah.
But actually when they go, well, all of this was worth it because they're together in the end. Because their whole thing is like, well, what are we going to show? Like a healthy, normal love? How boring.
Yeah.
Where's the show in that? There's no show in that. So we just won't show that.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
only show unhealthiness. And everybody's going to hook into that. And they want that. They want that ending.
Because it's good for drama, right? Because
100%.
it's good for drama,
Good for
right?
ratings.
And people are here for the drama.
All right. Shall we move on to Jeremiah?
Yes. Yes.
Jeremiah was a
Yes.
bullfrog. Yes. I love Jeremiah. Oh my gosh.
I actually have such a heart for him, although he's also
Oh,
problematic. But like
100%.
in terms of my feminine heart, right? And wounds, not, like albeit the wounding that this boy obviously has, it's like he's such a darling. He's
Yes.
so open
Yes.
with who he is,
Mm,
generous, I mean, he's obviously the youngest child and the
mm-hmm.
younger of the two brothers. And having two brothers myself, I do see this dynamic is
Yeah.
real. It's a hierarchical competition
Mm,
till kingdom come, it will always be.
yes.
But like he was just so, I mean, he got my heart. Conrad did not have my heart because it's like, oh, like get away from me, you breadcrumber.
Mm,
Like, but Jeremiah, like the embodied part of Jeremiah had my heart,
mm,
So I mean, and you and I have like, he's fun, but he's also like emotionally reactive. I mean, let's call it what
mm-hmm.
it is, right? There
Mm-hmm.
are parts of him that where he doesn't also own like
Yeah.
his own worth, right? So a lot of his closeness um is also performative in some ways. And you see that, in the first season where, he's really like just
Mm,
watching this interplay between
mm,
Conrad and Belly, not saying anything, but like obviously, taking his chance close to like the end of the season, eventually getting the girl. Was it episode? I can't remember anymore, but when they were in the pool,
mm.
kind of like doing what his brother couldn't do
Yes.
and saying, I think I love you and I think I've always loved you, blah, 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 and all those things. So there's a part of him with my heart, but he does also have his issues, right?
Mm-hmm. A
He
hundred
does.
percent.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's interesting. And the thing I want to point out about Jeremiah is that look, no one is going to be perfect. But when you're
Mm-mm.
looking at picking a partner, if I was to pick a partner nowadays, if Jeremiah was Jeremiah and he was 40, that's a
Mm.
problem. Jeremiah at
Yes.
19, 20, it being Jeremiah, fairly normal. And you need to discern
Barely.
between everyone's got issues. Which one is workable and not toxic and is not going to
Mm.
absolutely emotionally destroy me? He's got some issues, but I could see them working through that and him growing and maturing out of that. A lot of his issues I see are a lot of immaturity and he hasn't been
Yeah.
guided properly. He
Mm-mm.
could get around some good men and some good mentors, and I could see him straighten himself up. And he does in the end. He really straightens
He
himself up.
does. Yes.
And it's his issues are not so emotionally destructive as the way that Conrad's are. Like, I would
Mm.
never recommend to a friend to continue to persevere in a relationship with someone like Conrad. I would be like, get out and
Hmm.
leave now. That is not a good man for you.
Yeah.
With Jeremiah, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I hear that this is an issue and I hear he's got some problems. I reckon you guys can work it out though. I reckon
Yeah.
he's worth the investment if he's willing to come to the table. Obviously, if
I
he's like, I
agree.
don't have any problems, there's nothing wrong with me, then that's not a person you want to be with. But if he's like, okay,
Hmm.
let's work it out, then, and I think he would. He's generally pretty good with coming to her with, this is the issue or whatever. So we
Yeah.
have to have drama with them. We have to have some kind of, no one's
Of
perfect.
course. No
So,
one's perfect. Like the thing with what I appreciate about like this arc with Jeremiah is he does display what a lot of women also crave. I mean, when I say crave, I'm also talking about the shadow aspect of women, of a man who like you can have fun
mm,
with, who enjoys you.
he's peak golden retriever.
Like I Yes, golden retriever, exactly. Rather than like German Shepherd,
Mm,
kind of like or Doberman or whatever Conrad was, right? But Jeremiah was there's an endearing aspect to his vulnerability. There
mm,
is, right? But he's what I would call pseudo masculine. Like
yeah.
he is obviously masculine, like he pursues Belly not in the breadcrumby icky way that
He's direct. He's
Conrad treats her.
very direct. He's very open
Which
with
she's
like,
not used to
no,
in the beginning. She's like
yeah.
scared of it because all she's been used to is this breadcrumbing and, like
Mm-hmm.
crumbs from the table. So,
He's
it
masculine in
actually,
ways where like he turns up for his mother. He's the one who's there when she's
yes,
dying. He's the one who knows how much the bills
yes.
are. Conrad, who's studying
Hmm.
medicine, who could probably be a really big help for his mother at that
Yeah.
point,
Avoids her.
avoidant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeremiah's like, I know how much the hospital bills cost. I was there,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
I get that Conrad's away at school or whatever, but he does have this masculinity to him that is
Right.
like, I'm going to step up, I'm going to be here, but he also doesn't have, and I see this often when you have same age relationships as well. He doesn't cherish Belly. He doesn't, in the sense of like wanting to provide in the same way
Yeah.
that Conrad actually does want to provide for her a lot of the time. He's
Yes.
often
In
looking for like,
fairness.
how can I fix that? How can I get that for you? How can I sort that out? Whereas Jeremiah and Belly have a very equal relationship.
Yeah.
They're like, because they are best
Because
friends.
best friends, exactly. There's that best friend dynamic, there's that peer dynamic, and there's also this dynamic of Belly, when we get to her,
Mm,
but she's kind of like also unconsciously chasing like a male energy that she doesn't completely understand. And that's kind of like what she has with Jeremiah.
mm,
Jeremiah kind of goes in and out of cherishing her, but not as profoundly or like not as distinctively as Conrad does. So Conrad
mm,
has a big brother
yes.
type. I mean, it's romantic, but it's more of like there's kind of like a protector type
Yes.
with Conrad for Belly, and I'll give that to him.
Mm,
Albeit all the crappy other
yeah.
stuff, but like there is that. I will acknowledge that with
100%.
Jeremiah. It's that companionate love. We're
Yeah.
companions. We can watch TV together. We can go to the beach together. We'll have a they can probably had those 4 years without many arguments or anything,
Mm,
right? There was a steadiness in an era of their relationship, which I admire, right?
yeah.
Which we can give that to them, you
And he
know?
was he was often like, he was very upfront with what had been going on. He's like, I like her and I never stopped liking her.
Yeah. Hmm.
He's not afraid to say what's truly inside. And I think, women often talk about, I want, how many times do you hear, like, I want a man who's emotionally available? Like, that's
Mm,
such a key thing. I've seen a reel recently where it was a man on the street going around asking the women,
mm,
like, looks or emotional availability. And everyone was like,
hmm.
emotional availability. This is what we mean by emotional availability. It's
Yeah.
not that they need to be sitting there crying with you. That's not what
Mm,
we mean. What we mean is someone who understands how they feel and can communicate it in
yeah.
in a masculine way. And he's very direct and he's like, I like you, I want you, I understand you
Hmm.
have a thing for my brother. Like, he's not afraid of facing that. He doesn't hide from that. And he's like, this is my pursuit right now. This is my focus and what I want, and I'm going to go for that. But I'm also aware that there's other things going on. And he's pretty good at like, let the chips fall where they may. If she ends
Yeah.
up with him,
Risk taking.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Like, he's very much like, he's not he's not like petulant like
Hmm.
like Conrad is. And I know people are going to be listening. If you've seen the show, you're going to point to, what about the scene in the kitchen where he's like, I love that I get to be the one to tell you that she's in, Paris. He can have one crash out, please, people. Like,
Hmm.
he's been through so much. His brother just like
His
totally
brother told her not to marry him.
the
Like,
day
what the
before
hell
the
is that?
wedding. I think he's
That's
allowed to be a
the
little snarky.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let him brood,
The thing
you
about
know?
Jeremiah, too, is he has no one. That man has no
Yeah.
one. His dad is totally dismissive of him and puts him
Yes.
down, idolizes Conrad. He doesn't
Hmm.
have a brother anymore because his brother's been secretly betraying him his whole time that he's been a teenager. He lost his mother and now he's just lost his fiance. He has
Yeah.
no one
No
in his
one.
life. He is
Yeah.
all alone, and it really breaks my heart because he's a good man. He's a good guy with a big heart. He's open. He's honest. He's very like, and they have chemistry when they
They do.
kiss. Everyone's like, oh,
I
oh,
know. I
hello.
know. I don't get the same, sorry if this makes us seem like team Jeremiah, but like yeah, the chemistry with
Conrad.
Jeremiah was so much more
Yeah.
than the chemistry with Conrad. So I don't maybe it's just I don't understand like what is go maybe majority of women do want a Conrad,
Mm,
collectively,
mm,
right? And I don't know, it's just it didn't do it for me with Conrad and Belly and Jeremiah made more sense. Not that I totally agree with their relationship dynamic either. I mean, it had its problems as well,
mm.
right? But like for that, I'll give that to Conrad,
Yeah.
to Jeremiah, sorry.
Jeremiah,
Yeah.
like when Belly and Conrad first kiss, it was very non-eventful. They have some chemistry in the last season. Obviously, that ending scene
Obviously. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
and the eye contact, the tension it builds is intense and it's really well done.
Hmm.
Really, really well done. But Jeremiah, generally, they have this like chemistry, which is quite magnetic. You can see even in their bodies and when they're around each other. The actors have done such a great job of really portraying like two people who are just they orient themselves around each other because they are so comfortable and they have like this
Yeah.
childhood comfortability with each other. And
Yeah.
back to Jeremiah being pretty good with giving Conrad his chance. I wrote down here. So
Hmm.
he is the one who made Conrad have a conversation with Belly and
Yeah.
then also said to Belly, you have to have a conversation with him. When
Yeah.
she was trying to get with him, he would not give in to his emotions. He would not give in to his desires. This is so masculine where he's like,
Yes, the
this is
regulated connection between his
100%
jealousy and, like
on his
the
desire.
and his desires. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
he
give that to
says,
him. Yeah. Hmm.
she deserves to know how you feel. If she picks you, I'll let her go. And if you're
Yeah.
what she needs, I won't get in the way. I just want her to be happy and I want you to
Yeah.
be happy too.
And I
Like,
love that because it's feminine to feel, but it's masculine to be able to hold yourself. And Jeremiah tries to manage what he feels instead of shutting down like his brother. His brother does shut down a
yeah,
lot more.
yeah,
Jeremiah is able to verbalize his love, his pain, his jealousy,
yes,
right? And his desire. He's clear. Like he is
100%.
he is not one to suppress his like affection. So if I were going to look at the hormones for that, you could say that he has a higher like oxytocin tolerance, meaning he can stay present even in an emotionally charged moment. And we saw that when he admits his love to Belly, when he also, he's kind of like you the two of you like had to have a talk, what is
Yeah.
this? Right? He wants intimacy, obviously,
Mm.
right? But he's also willing to risk rejection like in the face. His
Yeah.
brother was not able to do that.
No.
He was
And
only
even
able to do that like in a smidgen to get Belly away from his brother.
100%.
But
And at the very end,
at the
this
very end,
guy's
like
doing it at the beginning. And he
yeah.
wants clear and open, honest communication between all parties involved so they can
Hmm.
knowingly step into what they choose to step into that is the best for them. And I think
Yeah.
that is so mature in so many ways. He is immature in a bunch of other ways.
In a bunch of other ways.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, drive me crazy how immature he was. I could never
I know.
date a Jeremiah like
I will
at
never
my
date a
age.
Jeremiah because I'd be freaked out at how much trouble he'd get into. Right? I mean,
I'd love
I
it.
mean, yeah. I wouldn't personally, that's the only thing that turns me off about
Mm,
him. Like he's kind of volatile, right?
yeah.
And of course, I'm not going to condone like what happened during spring break as well. You know what I mean? But like he's not immature entirely. He's not weak, right? Maybe he's
He's he's immature because he hasn't been shown yet, but not because he doesn't
yes.
have that there
Yeah.
intrinsically.
And we can't also blame that part of him or any of the boys because they have no freaking father.
No.
Their father is an asshole,
Yes.
right? So like that's where I can't also blame them for
Yes.
how they ended up, right? But he's I don't think Jeremiah is entirely immature, the like in totality, right?
Yeah.
He is a masculine man in many ways.
Yeah.
He wears his heart on his sleeve, right?
And
Yes,
he's
he could be a little
very
bit more,
emotional.
yeah, he oh yeah, especially which there's a part of me that agrees with Adam cutting him off because he
Mm,
needed that. He
100%.
needed that final like cut the head off the clown
And it
king and
worked.
grow up. It did. And I love that's when I had so much admiration for it. It turned from awe to I admire this.
Yeah.
He's gonna start a business. He's a really good chef.
Found
He
his
actually
passion.
has a potential healthy love with what's her name? Denise,
Denise.
right? Like it was proper, it was correct. Like
Yeah.
I felt relief for him in the end, and I'm glad he didn't end up with Belly because
Mm.
like
And
that's a
he
whole other
even
yeah.
when Conrad comes after he like I don't like that he left the morning of the wedding with no word and no one
Of
could find him.
that, and that's the child part of him.
100%.
Yes,
But
yes.
even then, when Conrad came up and he was like, don't come near me. I'm a dangerous person to be around right now. He's still
Mm,
there. His brother has just told his fiance that
yeah.
he's in love with him. He's in love with her still. And he's still there going, hey, I'm going to communicate that I'm going to be violent if you come
Yeah.
near me. I'm not the
Hmm.
best right now. And even when
Hmm.
Conrad says, do you want to hit me? Hit me. It'll make you feel better. And he's like, no, it'll make you feel better. I was like, yeah,
Yes.
pop off, King. Like this, absolutely. He's so aware of his own process whilst he's in the process, which is really
Yeah.
rare.
And that's what I
Really
said
rare.
about he knows his emotions, he knows his jealousy, he knows his anger,
Yeah.
but because when a man gets into violence because of his emotions, that's when the feminine aspect of him is ruling him.
Yes.
So he was so that in that scene, he was a brilliant example of this stoic,
Mm-hmm.
stoic part of Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Like let's give that to him, to team Jeremiah,
Mm.
right? Where he was regulated. He's like, no, if I hit you, like you win,
Yeah.
right? So he was like just calling out the bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the situation. And of course, Conrad was also trying to assuage the guilt
Yes.
that he had, right? So I think that Jeremiah played that well. He's like, no,
Mm.
bro, I'm not gonna hit you. I
Mm.
won't give you the satisfaction of that. But I will tell you that your lady love is in Paris,
Yeah. Later.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Carbo because this
okay,
is
okay,
something that I want to pull apart. I don't
okay.
have an issue with what happened in
Hmm.
Carbo. And I know that's
Yeah.
controversial, but I
It's more
don't
understanding maleness. Yeah,
exactly. And
that's
this
what it
is the
is.
conversation I had with a friend of mine. I was like, that's what men
Hmm.
do. If you
Yeah,
understand how men work, that's what men do. And it literally
yeah,
did mean nothing to him. He believed they were broken up and he went, and this is a very, very common way. Like we would be like, oh, I'm still hung up on this guy. I could never just go and be with someone else like the next day. But men
hmm
can because they're totally different in the
yes,
way that they process. And when you
exactly.
understand how men are and how they process, you would be like, okay, I don't like it, but I understand that it doesn't mean to you what it means to me.
Yeah,
What I did like is what Belly said when he said it didn't mean anything and she went, it means something to me. That's
yeah,
where I don't have a problem with what he did, but what he did where he lied about it and where he
yeah. The
didn't
lying.
consider her feelings. So it's like, yeah,
Mm,
even if as a man, even if you want to just go and do that, and because it doesn't mean anything to you, What you should do is go, even though it doesn't mean anything to me, it will mean something to her. And I wouldn't do
Exactly.
that to her. But
Hmm.
he was in self destructive mode because he
Yeah.
thought they were broken
He'd
up.
lost her. Yeah.
So he wasn't thinking about what does it mean to her. He was like,
Hmm.
she's gone.
And he was thinking, I need a painkiller. Because
100%.
that's what, I mean, if you read Esther Perel's work around infidelity,
Mm,
she has a really good book on redefining infidelity. She's like, the one thing that is common among the male cheating, if that's
yeah.
what you want to call it, right, is that most men act on it as a painkiller because of the primary relationship where they actually love the woman in the
Yes.
primary relationship. So, like, again, not I'm not saying that we're advocating for certain behaviors, right?
No.
But understanding the behavior is
Yes.
a huge distinction, right? So when a man says it meant nothing to me, he literally, like in his brain, they have
Yes.
such a different brain. It doesn't. Like I've asked men this, can
Hmm.
you separate sex from emotion? Yes, they can.
Yes.
They can,
Absolutely.
because their biology predicates them for that function.
Yep.
I've said this before in my biology classes. One man can get 100 women pregnant if he had sex for a whole week,
Hmm.
right? That's how much sex can not mean anything to them,
Yes.
right? But for a woman, we can only carry one baby at a time.
Yes.
So sex is bonding for us,
Hmm.
right? So that's kind of like how I diffuse a lot of like the justifications, like
Yeah.
of maybe like the uber feminists or like, oh, like never again. But I'm like, wait a minute, what's the context?
Yeah. There
What's the
is.
context of the one night stand that he had in Cabo when he was drunk and stoned?
And he cried for hours in the shower afterwards. Like that says
And he
more to
felt
me.
regret. Yeah.
Yeah. But that says more to me than the actual act of like him getting drunk and some woman being
Yeah.
all over him and him going, all right, may as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the you can tell, and they said, oh, they were looking at his photos and like he looks miserable. Like, he was not there
Mm.
partying, having
He
a
was
good
not
time. Like he
well.
was like, I don't actually care anymore. But
Yeah.
there's this study that showed that in breakups, women are hit sooner and
Mm.
um so they process the breakup the fastest, but they actually
Mm.
move through it more than men do. Men don't process the breakup for sometimes months. So they actually process it much later than women. But when they do, they are actually more devastated than the woman is. It
Yeah.
hits them a lot harder. But this
Yeah.
is where we
It's
have
true.
this moment where men are going out like acting like nothing's happened because they haven't processed it yet. They haven't
Yeah.
actually clocked what's happened for them. Whereas we're at home crying and whatever, and then we go and get a haircut. And by that time, he's just started to process it. And we've
Mm.
moved on already. And now he's
Yeah.
like, oh no. And now he's going down. But he actually is more devastated by it than we are, which I think
Yeah.
is fascinating if you look at the
Yeah.
behavioral displays that happen with unconscious people when they process partnership dissolution. Like
Yeah.
this is what plays out all the time.
It's real. Yeah. It's real.
Absolutely.
And so we have to give like men the same kind of consideration that we would give to women, you know, when they are in a volatile situation. Because, ladies, let's just state the facts. Men and women cheat for different reasons.
Yeah.
Most men cheat as a painkiller to, deal with like a territorial loss, which is what happened with Jeremiah when he thought Belly wasn't his anymore,
When
right?
she had
So
lied to him
when
and
she had lied and about the Christmas thing, because
yep,
and not only did she lie about Christmas, it was her brother who he's had a lifelong
yep,
competition with,
yep,
which again, like I mentioned in biology, that really happens between brothers,
yes.
right? Like it's not a bad thing.
Mm.
And so you can just imagine how extra conflicted this man was. And again, I'm not excusing what he did.
No,
A
no,
lot of
no,
people think that when you and I talk about like why men cheat, like that let them cheat. No, we're just
no.
saying that's what happened to his brain in a moment where he thought, as a male, I don't have my territory, I don't have my woman.
Mm.
And that's what actually, for most men, initiates like the cheating hormone. Women will cheat to leave because they hate the dude that they're with.
Mm.
It's a whole different motive, right? And again, you can judge me all you want, but you can read the research, read Esther Perel's
Yeah.
books, right? She's currently the number one writer right now on the nuances of like infidelity. And so, yeah, you could say that in that situation, when Belly
Mm.
cheated, right?
She
That
emotionally
she
cheated.
she emotionally cheated. We have to distinguish that. She didn't physically, but that's why it cut Jeremiah because
Yeah.
he already knew she's on her way out. If she's with me and then she spends a night with my brother
Mm.
talking, because
Falling
that's
in
how
love again.
women
That's what he said.
bond. Yeah,
She
that's how
said
women
nothing
bond. We,
happened. And he's like, no, something did
yeah,
happen. You started to love
yeah,
him again. He's
yes.
very, he's so astute. He's very aware of what's
He's
happening.
aware. Yeah, he's aware.
Yeah. And
Right. So
like,
we have to give it to Jeremiah for being aware there. Yeah.
absolutely. And the cheating thing, it's what we're saying is like, this is we're trying to understand the process and the chemicals that happen. And then we're saying when people are unaware, this is often how it plays out. So it's not
Yeah.
that we're saying that this is definitely what's going to happen. It's like when people are playing out wounds, this is, and they want to numb something or they want to emotionally step out or whatever they want to do, then these are some of the common ways that they do that when they don't know how to intelligently process what's actually going on for them. And this is
Yeah.
like some of the work that you do and others do as well that help people learn how to better handle these situations so you don't take those paths. Is that's not the
Yeah.
next step for you. It's
Yeah.
this is the distinction. I think that it's so funny because I see so many edits around on Instagram around Jeremiah, and they say like he's really creepy and he's really scary and he's really controlling. And I just think that you
We're gonna go
choose
with our biases.
you do. You choose, I was gonna say you
Yeah.
choose to interpret it that way
Yeah.
because someone showing up in such a clear way is so unfamiliar to you, it feels creepy. You're
Yeah.
like, ugh,
Exactly.
he's telling me he likes me directly. Ugh.
Because most women don't know what they want. We've
Yep.
said this before. Women
Yep.
are really good at knowing what they don't like. That
Cancel me.
when
Women don't know what they want.
cancel us, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
But we've said it before, like a million times. Like women are really good saying what they don't want, and
Yeah.
they're really bad at knowing what they do want as women.
Yeah.
That is because, what we are used to wanting is the unhealthy tropes that a lot of this programming happened, especially, and we're talking to the ladies our age.
Mm.
We're talking to the mid 30s, early 40s people. We're
Yeah.
talking to those that watch those movies in our generation, which we did, which you and I also spent time in those tropes and looking
Mm-hmm.
for those
Yeah.
tropes, right? In men. So we're not like clean here. But what we're saying is if you were team Jeremiah or team Conrad, the question is why?
Yes.
Why? Why was
Yes.
and I know we shared that reel with was that Jennifer Lawrence saying that
Yeah.
she was team Jeremiah
Yeah.
and all the people came after her. I'm like, how many of the women who came after her, what are their relationships like? What are their partnerships like? Let's look at that and then like really see.
It's
And
even,
again,
the
yeah,
the way that things are being interpreted for Jeremiah. It was like, oh, he's
every
$20,000 in debt. I'm like, no, no, no. That man had an argument with his father where his father
father,
didn't want to pay for another semester. His father's also paying for his other son to go to medical school and is totally loaded. Like, yeah, he's going to have an argument, be like, you're paying me back. That's not the
yeah,
same as someone being totally 20 grand in debt.
yeah,
Like there's all of these ways that Jeremiah's personality, he like the whole, oh my God, he was totally unreasonable about the cacao.
yeah. Can
Like,
we forget, can we please remember that these boys had trust funds and
yes.
they said it? Let's
Yes.
let's let's withdraw our trust funds to buy the beach house. Like,
Yes.
hello. I mean, he was not in debt. He was a son of a father who, like bankrolled him in college, which is normal.
Yep.
That's
And
his
then
father's, like,
his dad is
hello.
totally punishing towards Jeremiah and constantly trying to put him down. So he's obviously going to be, well, you got to pay me back because you're not as
Yeah.
good at you. Your brother wouldn't have let something like this happen, is I think what he said.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's just another way to get at Jeremiah.
I
He's not
know.
seriously having to pay his dad back, but like
Of
his dad
course.
did come through in the end and cut him off, and
He
which
needed
was
the lesson.
yeah,
He needed
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's actually really healthy for men. And I often
Mm-hmm.
say this to mothers. Um, there is a time when you need to cut the boys off. The boys need to go
Correct.
out and figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
The women, not so much. Please don't do that to your daughters.
No, no. It's a
Um,
whole different
Totally
brain. It's a whole
terrifying.
different biology for a woman. Yeah.
What you will do to her hormones will be sometimes irreparable.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
boys need it. Boys need the risk. They need that
Yeah.
risk. Their testosterone goes up when they get that risk, and then they start
Yes.
actually producing and achieving and driving. And it's a different scenario for them. They
Mm-hmm.
need to step out from the family bond. They need the mother
Mm-hmm.
strings, the apron strings to be cut. And if they don't,
Yes.
they will end up like in some ways, Jeremiah's lucky his mother died because she was overly
Yeah.
mothering him. He was
Oh,
crying on her
yes.
lap at 17 years old,
She was calling
18 years
him her
old,
baby,
all of
like
that.
all the things. Like she totally castrated him
And then
in many ways. Yeah.
Belly ended up becoming that for him. She tried to put like sunscreen on his face for him, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, you need to put sunscreen on." There was all of this very there's an uneasy dynamic that comes in with Belly and Jeremiah where she totally tries to mother him, and she has this idea of like, I'm going to take care of you now that Susanna's gone. It's like, well, you're not his mum. You're not his mum. You don't need to step in and take care of him as his mum. You can be his partner. You can be
Mm,
his equal. But yeah, there's a niggling of a dynamic
mm.
that could go the wrong way. But this is the thing, you need to understand that these these scenarios can go one way or the other. We all encounter them every day in our lives, and every relationship and partnership has toxic versions and healthy versions. And sometimes we dip in and out of them. Sometimes we
Yeah.
move wholeheartedly into one that's really not
Yeah.
good, or sometimes we recover and we end up with healthy versions. These are all like
Exactly.
just life's process. This is no
Mm.
like, these people are bad people because of this. It's just like
No, no.
noticing the patterns and noticing like,
Yes.
I see a little thing over there that we maybe should work
Uh,
on. Maybe it could be
exactly.
a little bit unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I also
And
loved about Jeremiah? Him showing up to the hospital and not
yes.
coming in, not coming in at all, staying out in the lobby. So he respected her boundaries, which Conrad
Mm,
never does. She's like, leave me alone. And he chases her.
hmm.
She's like, I don't want to talk to you again. And he comes and talks to her again. Like he just does not respect her boundaries at all.
Because Belly is his painkiller,
Yeah.
right? And you don't want to be somebody's painkiller.
Ugh.
Least of all, like marry them, which apparently in the books they marry each other,
Ugh.
so it's like, oh, please, please
Yes.
heal yourselves first.
Now,
Heal
Jeremiah's
yourselves
there
first.
out in the lobby respecting boundaries and like,
Yeah.
but he's there for her. He was like, we've been through
Yeah.
something, but your brother's in hospital. I'm going to show up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Does he make a rash decision after that? And do they, decide to get married? And people, he didn't even get down on one knee. He didn't even have a ring. What a tiny ring. And I think what he did was beautiful. And it made sense. It actually made sense in like the storyline. What didn't make sense is how quickly they wanted
Mm.
to get married. There was no
Yeah.
reason for them to rush it in the way that they did. That didn't make sense in the storyline. Um, but what I found interesting in all of that was the way that Laurel demonized marriage so much. She was so down on marriage.
Yes.
And she even said to her own daughter, I want you to have lots of lovers before you settle on one.
That was disgusting to me.
Laurel, what the?
Oh, I
What are
have it
you?
in my mind that Laurel had a lot of hookups
I
when
have
she
it in
was in
my
high
mind.
school.
No, I have it in my mind that Laurel didn't have anything with anyone but Adam and is resentful of that.
Yeah.
So she's trying to play out her own
Oh, by the way,
ideas
ladies,
of
because
missed stuff.
Adam, the father of the boys, is Laurel, Belly's mom's ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
So we
There's it
forgot to
and
mention
and
that. Yeah.
she gives Adam to Susanna because she
Mm,
thinks they would
yeah.
be a better match. Like, okay,
It's
Laurel, you're
like
just in control of everything.
exactly. It's weird. it's weird how she's like the mastermind in many ways.
She's really horrible to her own daughter
She's
about
terrible to her
and and
kids. She's
and
terrible to her children.
to marriage. Like it's she's so demonizing of marriage, and even to the point where her ex-husband is just like John's just like, was I really the worst mistake you ever made? Like they are wonderful co-parents. He seems like a lovely man. They have two great
Yeah.
kids together. She was able to be a writer and raise her children. Like, what's your problem? She's like a
Mm.
chronically dissatisfied menopausal woman. Like,
She
really?
is. Like when I feel into her, I told you, like my shoulders kind of like go up like this. It's like I don't want to be with, when she comes on screen, I don't want to
Mm,
hear her. I don't want to see her face. I don't want anything to have to do with her. I had zero empathy for this person, and I'm an empathetic person, right? So I really did feel that she is the kind of Belly and Steven had to look for like that maternal love elsewhere,
yeah.
probably in
In
Susanna,
Susanna.
right?
Hmm.
Because their mom was like a roommate, like there was
Their
no
mum was their dad, and
nurturance.
their dad is
There,
their mum.
yeah,
They're totally depolarized.
clearly,
Hmm.
clearly, yeah. I feel so sad for Steven, as
What's
well, What's Steven? Who's Steven?
like,
Uh, he's a side piece. He's kind of a side piece in this story, but he has his own story. But basically, he is Belly's older brother,
and he
right?
has a relationship with Belly's best friend Taylor because everybody in this show is connected to everyone.
All right.
You know what I love about Taylor and Stephen, even though because Taylor is totally the parentified child. She calls her mum Lucinda. She's like, "I'll take care of you." She pays off her mother's debt. It's just
Yeah.
heartbreaking to watch, but it is very real. This is what I
Mm,
love about Taylor and Stephen. Yes, they both cheat on their partners with each other. Yes, they're totally emotionally abusive towards each other and totally
hmm.
petulant children who cannot communicate, who cannot figure out their own hearts. They are totally playing out all of their toxic childhood traumas, but it's very, very real. It's just
Yeah.
real. And that's why people have sympathy for them because they're not playing games on purpose. Unlike Conrad, who's playing games on purpose, they're just like, we don't know how to do this because we're just in our
Yeah.
traumas.
We're just big children trying to figure it out,
You're triggering me, I'm triggering you, then you're triggering me, then
Exactly.
and that's how they play it out. But it's so real that it's endearing. You're like, oh, look at them. They're really
Oh,
struggling,
these
but
poor
they're,
little babies,
yeah,
right?
they don't know how to do it. They're struggling, but they're trying. They genuinely love each other. You can see that they genuinely love each other, and it's quite a healthy love. But they're just totally damaged people who don't know
Yeah.
how to
They
lean
just don't
into
have the
that.
skills. Yeah, they don't have the
100%.
skills. They don't have the skills. They don't have like the healthy examples. I mean, look at her mom,
Yeah.
right? Look at his mom and dad, So again, this is, I think a lot of people see themselves as well in this couple. Because Taylor, at the end of the day, she understands everyone. She understands. Like she's like,
Mm-hmm.
if we were gonna go with archetypes, she would be like the seer. She would be
Mm.
like, this is what I see, this is what I think, this is what I feel. And she's genuinely
Yes.
loves everyone.
Yes.
So Taylor has my heart in that regard.
I love
I
Taylor.
mean, their relationship dynamics, kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it can work. They eventually did work on that, but like, we need that Taylor,
Yeah.
to kind of call the bullshit for us,
100%. Because
right?
you got
Yeah,
so many other people in this show living in fantasy land. And Taylor's
yeah,
just so rooted in reality, which I
yeah. I
just
love her.
love. I know me too. I really,
Even with her
yeah,
mother,
yeah,
right? And she and Stephen kind of like help her mother,
yeah.
right? So, in many ways, Taylor has the head.
Mm,
She has like her head on. I mean, not with Stephen, he totally discombobulates her, right? But
yeah,
like, but then that okay, there's something there
yeah,
that if they worked on that, that could be really healthy,
it could be.
potentially,
And
which
you,
eventually they did find each other. Yeah, that
exactly.
stability. Hmm.
You do see though that it could go a not so good way because Taylor could have the tendency to become Laurel if she's not careful. Because
Oh
Stephen has
yeah.
picked a very hard-headed woman like his mom. He's picked a very like pragmatic person like his mom.
Right.
It's a very
Right.
I'm like, okay, I see why you like Taylor because Taylor's mean to you, like your mom's mean to you. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
God,
totally
yeah.
familiar in this
Yeah.
sense, but Yeah, if she's not careful, she'll end up bitter and resentful like Laurel is.
Mm,
But I see, because I can see that, I can rework or go backwards from Laurel and be like, she probably had a really big heart when she was younger, and she probably wanted to like express that and give that, and just felt that she just couldn't get through her own shit. So she just
yeah.
closed it off, and that was the end for her. But it's so sad to watch the propaganda of Laurel just constantly going, marriage is the worst thing in the world. Don't get
I
married. You should
hate
sleep with everyone. Like, please, you need to find yourself. Oh my God, it's so devastating. You're getting married young. Please go travel the world. Please find yourself, or you're going to lose yourself in your marriage. Like,
oh. And
mate,
how many women are still playing that out today?
yeah. This is what
Yeah.
happened for you, Laurel, but maybe it's not what's going to happen to your daughter. Hopefully, you raised your daughter well enough to know herself, and that
Mm,
she doesn't lose herself into
yeah.
other people, that she is like consistent and consolidated in who she is. But let's look at her with Conrad. Does she lose herself in Conrad? I think
She
she
treats
does.
him like the son that she should be, the way she should be treating
Mm-hmm.
her own children.
Yep.
Like, I never saw her tender with Stephen or with Belly. And that
She's tiger
frustrated
mom with
me.
Stephen.
Right? It frustrated me. I am like, woman, like, what is wrong with you?
And
You
you
know, you're,
have like a Stephen and a Belly, like in the age, like an
I
older
do.
son and a
Yeah.
younger
Like,
daughter. Yeah.
I do. And I am not that way with them. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very different in the way that I regard the children because of their biology. You know, I'm
Mm.
aware what's going on up here hormonally and everything. But she treated, like I said, the way that I felt into Laurel's energy was like she treats her children like roommates.
Mm.
There's no nurturing there. The way she, but with Conrad, there's this weird, like golden boy, you're my boy or whatever,
My special
weird,
boy.
my special boy, like weird. It's just weird, Lauren. It's weird. Like, what
Yeah.
is that? If I did that to any of my son's friends, like I would be so disgusted, like with
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very
why?
odd.
Right? It's
Yeah. And
odd.
I don't know. I think maybe because it was his, like she says, oh, you were the firstborn. But I think it's like she's so obsessed with Susanna that, the magical thing came from Susanna. Susanna was the first one to have babies. And it was just like, I see Susanna's looking at I'm making this up now, but in my head, I make up that she would have been like, I see Susanna as like in her motherhood, totally obsessed with
Mm,
this child. I better be
mm,
just as obsessed with this child. Otherwise, I'm going to be cut out of Susanna's life.
yeah.
I attach myself to
Gosh.
Conrad, then I get to stay just as connected with Susanna.
Oh my gosh. I think she was in love with Susanna, honestly.
100%.
Right.
100%. There's something going on there.
There's nothing that is not weird, right?
But from
Because
Laurel,
they're both off with their husbands, like
yeah.
totally cut off from their husbands,
And
right?
even the fact that they used to come to the summer house when they both were married and without their husbands, and they're like, oh, the husbands just come on the fourth, and that's the way we
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
Don't tell your kids that you
What?
don't like to spend time with their father.
So
Like,
what are they
what?
doing? You know, the other 7 weeks of July and August, right?
Very odd. Very odd. But from Laurel, let's go to Belly. Let's
Okay.
talk about the main character, Belly Conklin. My favorite reel that I have seen so far is that as a mother of boys, my
Mm.
new fear has been unlocked that my boys will one day grow up
We'll
and
meet a
meet a
belly.
Belly Conklin.
I don't want.
She is the
I,
villain.
she is. Oh my God. Totally. She is like, I've seen some reviews of her, and like, some people paint the moms as the villains, shaping their children to be this way. But
Mm,
like, because she is the main character,
yeah,
like, let's talk about how girls do not do not be this woman.
no,
This big girl like in a 18-year-old body,
yeah.
right?
I've written down has the personality of a paper bag, but
Yes,
everyone
I
is
agree.
somehow in love with her.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
like,
understand it.
you
Like
don't know
what
the effect you have on people. I'm like, what effect? What effect? She
I
is
know.
such like a boring cardboard what?
What effect exactly?
She's not
Like, what
magical
effect do
or
you have? Is she a unicorn?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I just think that, she's the first like girl that Conrad's ever seen. And you know how they say that there's research around men want to marry like the first thing they see when they're ready, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yep.
So he probably because that's all the girl he's ever seen, right?
Yes.
Has again this weird, strange attachment to her because and then one summer she suddenly has boobs and longer hair,
Yeah.
right? And no glasses, because
No
he's like, "Where are
braces,
your
no
glasses?
glasses.
Where are
Yeah.
your braces?" So it's like, it's like that 1990s version of those films where their
Like
their eyes are
she's all that.
opened.
She's all that.
She's
Where
all
like
that. Yeah.
Rachel Lee
Oh,
Cook and they're like,
but I
oh,
love
she's
that
so
movie. Don't
gross.
take that from me.
And
Don't
then
take
like
that from
take off the
me.
glasses. Oh my God. I never knew you were so beautiful. Like glasses somehow made everyone like the most disgusting person
Oh,
ever.
gotta love the 90s.
Oh my
Gotta love the
God.
crap that was poured out on
Like, oh
us.
my God, you're wearing overalls and you've got glasses. Ew.
Oh.
Put on a dress and
But
take off your glasses and let down your hair to like kiss
yeah.
me
But
underneath
like Lainey
your
Boggs
barley.
has more personality than Belly Conklin.
Laney Boggs. And what a name, first of all.
Lainey Boggs. The when her dad is like the pool man.
100% is so good. So good. Even like Kat in 10 Things I Hate About You, and then
Oh
she
yeah,
has
her
that
the
princess
feminist.
moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Oh, but
dear.
still, why do
Yeah.
we glorify these women, honestly?
They look, they're good main character women because they are so toxic. Like Belly is the most selfish woman I think I've ever seen on
And the most
screen.
confused woman.
But she's confused because she is selfish. Because if she was to
Yeah.
be not selfish, it would clear up a lot for her. But
Yeah,
she's
because she's
so
addicted
self.
to drama.
She's
Yeah, because she's
can't get out
addicted to
of her
drama.
own. Yeah, the drama is the oxytocin that she's addicted to. She's like,
Yeah.
more,
The
give me more.
dopamine. That's
100% the
the,
dopamine.
yeah. Because oxytocin would be like positive, right? Which,
Yes, sorry, I misspoke.
I give it to her I think Jeremiah and her have that in college
Mm,
in those 4 blissful years of,
mm,
they're studying, they're
yeah,
actually finishing college, they're functional. But like with Conrad, it's
dopamine.
Belly is dopamine hits and breadcrumbing and emotional drama and being the victim and chasing after him. She is not who I want my daughter to be.
She's very
Mm,
manipulative and
yes.
she's sexually aggressive. She is the
Mm,
pursuer a lot of times, even when
yes.
Jeremiah didn't want to kiss her, and she's just like, you know what I want, and
Yeah.
she's the one who takes his hand and puts it, where she wants it to go. There's all
Yeah.
of these things about her that is really, it's not it's not within her feminine. There is
Yeah.
there is this chase that she has. The
Mm,
sexual aggressiveness, I think, it comes from not feeling confident. She's completely insecure, and through that
yeah.
insecurity, she's like desperate. It's
Yeah.
this desperate, like I've got to get
Yeah.
this person, I've got to lock them down, and I'm going to use this to
Because
do it.
because she's uninitiated in her femininity.
Yeah,
So she's always caught in this loop of like performative, like yearning, and like she's actually the most masculine
yeah,
out of all of them. If because she flips between Conrad and Jeremiah, and it's not based on like any type of like healthy leadership from either of them,
mm,
not but she's actually addicted to whoever gives her the feeling
yeah.
in the moment, and then she switches, she uses kind of like this, oh well, covertly I have both of them,
She's
right?
selfish.
So
She wants to have a cake and eat
it
it
is
too.
she wants to, yes, thank you, yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny though because she's had this fantasy a whole life about Conrad and marrying Conrad.
Conrad.
Even when she gets high and on her hen's night, and then she's like, "I've only ever pictured Conrad. This is not my dream wedding. I've only ever pictured Conrad." And then she's panicking, but
Mm,
it's all a fantasy. In real
yeah,
life, Conrad's going to be a doctor. He's not going to be home. He's not
for
going to
most of
be
the
around
time.
100%. In real
Yeah.
life, he's not going to be able to give you the attention that you so desperately require, Belly. You require
Mm,
24/7 attention and adoration. That is
yeah.
what you require of your partner. Jeremiah gave you that, and that's why you loved him. And that's why you stayed with him because he fed that wolf in you, the two wolves. He fed
The
that wolf
wolf,
in
yeah.
you that really just need. And Conrad is not going to do that for you. But what Conrad will do is feed the fantasy. And
Yeah.
even him being away all the time, being a doctor, you will get to create so much drama in your relationship. You'll be like, you weren't home. You weren't here when our daughter did this. Or, it'll
Exactly.
be just all the, oh my God, it'll just be the most unhealthy relationship you can ever imagine. And it's not
And
all
this,
Conrad's fault, it's
it's
Belly's
not.
too.
And the sad thing is, like, okay, I don't think she's trying to be evil. She's not doing this consciously, right? I mean,
Mm,
we
mm,
know this, but she is using her, like sexual power, even if
mm,
it's not, it is sexual at the end of the day, for in these love triangles, but she is using that before she has any ounce of emotional maturity, right? So she is not in her feminine power at all. She's addicted to drama. She creates these two very distinct emotional bonds with the brothers, and then she's holding it. She's holding the tension of both of them, and then she blames either of them, right, for not knowing actually what she wants. Because if she just said, like it's this one, but like while I'm with this one, I'm having yearnings for this one, maybe, I mean, if I were just going to not go by the book, I would tell her to break up with both of them and just clear her little, like Fisher boy head out, like totally, which,
mm.
she kind of did in Paris. She kind of did that, but then she got hooked with what's his name? Um,
Benito.
Benito, right? She does not know who she is without a man.
100%. And
Oh, that
she's
is the most
so,
toxic thing about her. Yeah.
it's so weird as well that they talk about like your body count is only these two boys. Like you've only ever slept
Oh,
with
that
two
was
brothers.
gross.
It's
Yeah.
it's like,
That was disgusting.
yeah, like she sleeps with one, then sleeps with the other one, and then goes back and sleeps with the other one again. And it's just like, really? Really? This just these two boys? Okay. And they're brothers. It feels very wrong. It's
It
just
feels
feels
kind of incestuous in many ways because they also grew up together,
yes. And
right?
that's what makes it feel so odd. It's not like you just met them
Er,
and had this is the thing. It's like I think she has an attraction to Conrad because of the way that he presents and the way that he activates certain hormones in her. But
yeah.
she has an attraction to Jeremiah for his real life showing up. Like what he actually provides for her is attractive to her because he
Mm,
can meet the needs. She's a very high need woman. She is a high
yeah.
maintenance woman, and he meets those needs. He's able to provide that for her. He might not be able to provide financially for her, but he can
Mm,
actually meet a lot of her emotional needs. What
yeah.
he can't meet is the dopamine that Conrad has all the time, where it's like give and take, give and take. And she even says, this is who he is. He gives and then he takes away. It's like she
Yeah.
loves that. She
She loves the
loves that.
breadcrumbing because of her addiction to
Yeah.
drama.
She would 100%,
It's,
if she wasn't addicted to Conrad, she would be like in gambling or alcohol or something like that because
yeah,
she has an addictive personality. You can see it.
yeah.
That's
She's
why she's like, I don't smoke drugs. I don't do any drugs. I don't drink. She does
yeah,
all, she's very
she's the
teetotaler.
good girl, like she looks like a good girl. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
athlete,
Yep.
I'm this little Asian, like girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, she initiates all the kisses. Like she engineers all of the emotional moments, and she's the one who makes all the ultimatums, right?
Yeah.
So
Makes a whole funeral about her.
she's very masculine in that way. I mean, if we're going to use
She
that
is
the
drama.
polarity language,
Mm,
right? She is wounded.
mm,
She's like in hunter mode all the time with these two boys, right? And then she has resentment
yeah.
after they don't reciprocate all of her chasing and, all of her drama, right? So I do not want girls, because young girls are going to look at her and
Mm,
be like, oh, look at her. She has two.
100%.
And I'm
She's
like,
winning.
no,
Yeah.
she's like toxic girl
Yeah. And how look at all these men who are just like fawning over her
fawning
and
over her,
they
right?
just like if you just be like her, then men will be attracted to you. Men like
No.
Jeremiah, men like Conrad, men like Cam Cameron. Cam Cameron,
Yeah.
team Cam Cameron over
Team
here.
Camp. Okay. Yes. He was so
The best man in
good.
the show.
He was so honorable.
Love that man.
Poor Cameron. I hate
Just
Jenny for
I
writing
know.
that.
But whatever your flavor of man is,
Oh,
if you just act like Belly, then everyone will be in love with her.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad. But this is
Yeah.
why we're doing this podcast because if you have if you have a
We
child and
want
you
to save our girls.
we want you to watch it with them and talk them through what's happening as it
Exactly.
happens. This is such a great way rather than to sit down across from one another, go, let me teach you about what's happening. Let me teach you about
Mm.
boys and don't be like this and do that. They don't listen.
And to not be like Susanna or Laurel,
Yeah,
right? Because
100%.
they groomed her in their own respective ways,
Yes.
right? So I feel sad for Belly in that she didn't have an embodied feminine archetype to look up to.
No.
Not even her own mother, not even her weird mom's best friend
Yeah.
situation, right? Like,
Well,
I feel sad for her. Yeah.
she had a hardened feminine mother,
Yes.
which to be honest with you, all the work that I've done with the hyper independent stuff, you see
Yeah.
women with mother wounds is not women with father wounds that actually end up being
Mm,
more sexually aggressive than women with father wounds. Women with
mm.
mother wounds and who have a hardened mother are the ones who play this out quite
Yeah.
often. They
Yeah.
are confused most
The
of the
tiger
time. They
mums.
don't
Yeah.
know how to be women. They've never been shown how to be women. They've raised to be like little boys, raised to be
Mm,
independent, raised to
yeah.
be like solid on your own. This is Laurel's whole thing is like go off on be independent, take care of
Yeah.
yourself, learn how to be without somebody rather than being like you belong in this family and we will
Yeah.
take care of you and walk you through whatever you need to explore at this moment. We will be there to help you with that. That is
Yeah.
the correct way to like nurture the young girl to be like, you're safe to explore here because we have your back. She will make better decisions from that rather than I'm on my own and I got to figure it out. I just like the
Yeah.
fact that she flew to Paris without telling anyone and had nowhere to stay, no money. And then they were like, do you want us to call your family? She's like, no, I'll figure it out. That to
Yeah.
me tells you that that woman is totally wounded in her familial dynamic. She does not feel like she's owned or safe, or that is a place that she can go. Even though you see, she calls Laurel all the time. She's like, Mummy, I need you. Mummy, I need. She
Yeah.
wants it. She wants
She
it, but
wants her
Laurel does
mom.
not give it to her in the way that she needs. She comes and fixes things and comes and yells at her, which is the father's role. She does not come to nourish her. And her dad is just absent. Like, where are the dads in this show? They're totally just like, they're there, but not
They're
there.
absent. Like when Adam first arrives, of course, we're like, well, we already know his backstory,
Mm,
right? But like, when he arrives, I'm like, well, first of all, I have the ick with him as well,
mm,
right? And then when it's John, you can really see also the inversion
yeah.
like between them. Well, with Susanna and Adam, it's more of like avoidant, like I don't
Yeah.
want to deal with you. Let's just she just wants to be in her pretty beach house with all her pretty things and her pretty young boys, right?
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of problems with both of these men, right? And I know this podcast is turning out like, is there any good person here? But like,
But this is life.
but
Everyone's got issues.
it
We're not
is, yeah.
perfect either.
Yeah, we're not. We're just like, we just want to point out, some of the things that um, when you're in a relationship can really screw you over and your children, like the generation after. So what I feel, this is why I hold the two moms responsible because
Mm,
they had this weird friendship that was kind of like a sapphic thing going on kind of situation where there was no embodied masculine, no
no.
fathers, right? And it just goes to show that both males and females, sons and daughters,
Mm,
suffer
yes.
without the integrated masculine involved in the child rearing, in the raising of kids. And to think all of this dynamic is because you have 8 weeks with the same people in this house forming all of these trauma bonds and these unhealthy attachments and
Mm,
dismissive behaviors that what are you going to do? What are you going to have at the end of the
mm,
day?
yeah.
You're going to have these weird dynamics where everybody's in everybody's lives, affecting everybody's energy,
Mm,
um, affecting, like who gets to be who in a relationship down the road.
mm,
So we really have to speak to the importance as well of the embodied masculine presence
mm,
that was lacking in this entire film,
absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, and I love what you said there, like about the both girls and boys are affected by the lack of masculine
The lack
presence,
they are.
but
Hmm.
both boys and girls are affected by the lack of healthy embodied feminine presence. So you
Yes.
have a hardened
Yes.
mother and you have a collapsed, like the hardened feminine and the
Collapsed
collapsed
feminine.
feminine. You have these
Yes.
two toxic versions of femininity. They're both valid versions of femininity because they're what we play out, but they're not healthy versions. And they both live in that state. They don't flow in their versions of femininity in what is required of them at that point in that time. They're not responding to situations with, like, maybe I need to be a little bit harder here. Maybe I need to be a little bit softer here, a little bit more nurturing. Maybe I need to like play up the fantasy for this moment, or maybe I need to like come back down to reality and like get some clarity about what's happening in this situation. They don't do that. They live in their archetypes and they
Mm.
just spew wounds out at everybody. And they are the main pillars of both families. They are
Yeah.
this is matriarchy. And people are saying
Matriarchy.
we live in a patriarchy. We don't. We really
We
don't.
don't.
This is matriarchy. And it is,
We lack masculinity
yes.
in our society.
And we also lack healthy femininity in our society.
Yes.
When you have the women in control and the women are playing out toxic versions of that, this is what you get. You get emotionally fucked up children. To sorry to like swear, but that's what's happening here. It's really all of this constellation, this familial constellation is tragic. It's
Yeah.
really tragic. Like
Yeah.
I feel for them. Like I really feel like Taylor and Stephen are going to have the best shot out of everybody.
I do. And like I hope they make it well. I hope they get married.
Yeah.
I hope they, like have a
They need to
healthy
go to therapy.
dynamic. They do. They need
Yes.
therapy for some of their avoidant tendencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their communication skills, but that's workable.
Yeah.
And they actually did end up becoming aware of that,
Yeah.
towards the end. I hope that, because there's going to be a movie
Mm,
and there's going to be a whole like movie to kind of like, I guess they're going to take the parts in the book, like
mm.
them getting married and how that looks like. I just hope that um this doesn't end in I like idolization, because that's what happened with the Notebook.
Yeah.
Still is a lot of that going
Yeah.
on. Like still, a lot of young people now catching on to like the second wave of that. There's a lot of the romanticization of the tortured lover, and kind of
Mm.
the lack of acceptance of actually what were the healthy masculine qualities that somebody like Jeremiah was showing. Of course, people fixated on, he cheated, and like he's
But
he did all of this.
we went through this in
Yeah,
1999 with Ross and Rachel on Friends. This we
right.
They were on a break. We had
They were on a
the
break.
entire world
Right. Oh,
divided
right. You're right.
into like
You're right.
people who thought, yeah, they were on a break, and people who thought, no, they weren't on a break and he cheated. It's There's a
I was on
real
Ross's side, in fairness. I kind of like see, well, he thought he lost Rachel, who he's loved since he was
same
in
story.
ninth grade. You had that reaction too?
Jenny
Yeah.
Han literally ripped off that dialogue word for word. You can tell that woman is like Gen X millennial because she's watched French, she's seen it, and she's just played that exact thing straight out. And now you have the same thing where you got half the world going, they were broken up, and the other half going, they're not broken up. They were selling T-shirts in the 90s saying they were on a
I
break.
know. Yeah.
It's just crazy how much we're just recycling our own psychological programming. Like it's fascinating for me now to be in the second cycle of it and to
Yeah.
see and be like, oh, and be able to look back. But for the young people, they don't know. As much as they played a lot of our music in this show, which was odd for me. I was like, are Gen Z and Alpha listening to Justin Timberlake in the car with each other? I don't know if they are. Why have we got Fleetwood Mac Dreams playing right now? Like you've got all Taylor
These
Swift,
dreams.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you've got Linger. You've got a remake of Linger in there when they're
Yeah.
at
I
Michael's and she's all
I heard I heard the music, and I'm like, how much did they pay? You know?
the music
What
is
is the
like
budget for this
100%.
movie?
Like it's all
Right?
Taylor Swift and like Sabrina Carpenter, and it's just
Wow.
it's it's crazy, the music in this. But the fact that I was like, okay, you've got Harry Styles, you've got Sabrina Carpenter, you've got Taylor Swift, but then you drop in these millennial songs as well. It's like, what? I feel like you're doing this deliberately. There's like an emotional tug that you're doing for millennials. It's like, hey, remember that? Remember the first time you went through this? Remember the first time we convinced you that this was healthy? Remember what that was like? That's where I want you to be right now when you're watching this
Mm,
new stuff. And it's so fascinating for me being able to look back and be like, ah, I've been here before. I've been in the Ross and Rachel situation before. I was like, oh, were they on a break or were they not on a break? And how do I feel
yeah.
about that? I can see from both sides what they think. But it's so fascinating to just watch this culturally play out once again.
Mm. I love the ways that well, I guess it's also our age, let's call it
Mm,
what it is. But I kind of like how I love how in this episode we really were able to see, like point out the patterns
mm,
because I know there are lots of parents watching this. So in us, I guess to close, in us knowing in hindsight now, our own wounding
mm.
from when these movies and this one, kind of like appealed to unhealed parts of us maybe 20 years ago. And now, and Lauren and I have done extensive inner work to heal. And we're not perfect. We're not saying we're
Years of
perfect because
therapy.
the reason, yes, therapy works for
Yes.
women. Yes, they're fawning Team Conrad and hating on Jeremiah. I'm not Team Jeremiah, just to be clear, right? We're Team Cam. We're
Team
Team
Cam
Cam Cameron
Cameron.
here. Healthy masculinity. But what
Yeah.
I'm going to say is do not write off this, well, do not write off what you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there are examples. I mean, for Conrad, for Jeremiah, there are some slivers there, but
Yes.
majority, I would not recommend either of these boys to be boyfriends with my daughter.
No.
Okay. I will say that there are a little, like, let's just say for purposes of our analysis today, there's a little for Jeremiah, like in terms of if that were going to be nurtured, if he was going to go off on the tangent that he eventually ended with, which was
Mm.
improve his life, get cut off and
This
go
is
on
what we're
his own
saying.
healing
Jeremiah just
journey.
needs a bit of maturity.
He just needed
He was
maturity.
going to work that out, whereas Conrad needs
Yes.
psychological help.
Whereas Conrad, he didn't change anything
Mm-mm.
about himself. And he ended up with a girl who
Yeah.
I don't care much for anyway.
And like
Right.
she's
So
chasing him down at the end and gets on the train and he's looking at her like, oh, pick me. Please choose me.
choose me, love me. The
Oh,
whole Meredith Grey, McDreamy. Oh God,
it's
there's so
so
many.
weird. And she's so cold after they sleep together in Paris. And
I
she's just
hated that.
like it's horrific. And he's all like they've totally swapped polarity. I was like, this is Laurel and
Yeah,
John playing this out. Like right now, I can
exactly.
see this dynamic.
That's
It
what a guy looks like when he's violated. I'm sorry. You know what I
100%.
mean?
I felt for him. I was like,
I felt like,
what
oh,
have you done?
she
You
used
used
him.
him
She used
100%.
him, right? She's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I'm not gonna adjust my day for you,
Come home
right?
with
Like,
me.
yeah, come home with me so I can use you
Yeah.
for my sexual frustration,
Mm-hmm.
and then tomorrow I'm gonna go off to work like nothing
Yeah.
happened. Oh, and
What
that is what women. That's the last episode of the last season. What do you think all these 20-something women are gonna be left with?
100%. I just bought this dress so you could take it off. Like this is
I
my
hate
whole
that song, Taylor. Gosh. Oh my God.
I want to close with a few things that I hate about this show that have nothing to do with relationships
Okay.
because I feel like I need to vent them to you, Martine.
Okay.
First of all,
I'll end with stuff I hate too then.
okay, great.
Okay. Okay.
Why does Belly never have a handbag or her phone or money or keys on her at all? Why? Where is your handbag, girl? What? How are
Where's your
you?
hairbrush?
What? She got off a scooter in these shorts. She looks fantastic. She's like a Parisian chic. They're linen
Yeah.
shorts. has no phone, no keys,
Yeah.
no wallet, no handbag, goes into her house, puts in the key code, doesn't get anything, and then goes out for a whole day with Conrad with none of those things, somehow goes from Paris to Versailles, which is like a few hours away, and then back again. And they do the Louvre and they do the
All in one
all
day.
in one day, but also with no money, no phone. Like it's so bizarre that it was all I could concentrate on. Like was like where, and then when she chases after him in the very last moments of the season, she leaves her apartment. She chases him to the train station. Once again, you look at her back pockets. There's no phone.
Yeah,
There's no wallet. There's no keys. There's no passport. So she
I
gets a
know.
cab, gets to a train station, gets on a train going to another country with no passport, no money, no
To
phone.
Belgium,
How are
right?
you paying for this? Belly,
How did
what?
she get on the train
100%. This
without her passport?
This frustrates me. It makes no sense. I don't like it. She also never
Oh my
eats. Her
God.
and Taylor go to a coffee shop and she tells Taylor that they're getting married. She orders 2 breakfast burritos and 2 iced coffees, puts them on the table. Taylor eats and she gets up and goes, "My dad's here. I got to go," and leaves the food there. Eat the food. What do you take it with you? Even if you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't want to eat this like 7 takes in a row." Perhaps you're like, as an
Mm.
actor, you're like, they make them spit it out. What? But you could just feign it, like, "Oh, let me just take this with me." It's so frustrating. Like the continuity in this show.
The-
Oh my god, it's just like this is so basic, and you are driving me insane. And the other
yeah.
one
They
that I
probably
have to
thought you got away with it because of the storyline
100%, you're not
that
focused on
has us
that.
all effed up in our heads.
Yeah, like except that we watched an episode for air tags. Like that, what was that
Oh,
about?
oh my God.
But my final thing that I will say that I hate the most, and then I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah.
When the surfing cut incident happens on his
Oh my
leg,
God. Oh gosh, I hate that scene.
they have this intense moment, and it is very sexy. It
It's
is
very erotic.
very erotic. But his cut, if this is his cut is sideways across his
Yeah.
leg. You see that because she puts the bandage on it, she rinses it off,
Mm.
and he has some manky toenails, by the way. Like, but later on, when she says, how's your leg? And he electrocutes himself and she looks down at his leg, the cut is vertical.
I know. Continuity
What is going
directors or
on?
producers or whoever you are.
Like even as an actor, you'd be like, surely you guys made this cut. I
Oh my
spent six
God.
hours in special effects getting this. It's you've now put it around the wrong way. Like, why has nobody picked this up? So frustrating.
Because the movie, the series is too busy programming the kids to be deadened to the trauma bond, which is the number one thing I dislike about this story arc and the whole story itself. Like, the reality is in real life,
Yeah.
if two brothers were to do that, th this would not work like in the real world. Okay. So like the love triangle thing
Mm,
is like it's treated as a slow burn that would actually never happen
hmm.
in real life. I don't care what people say, like give me that like in real life. So I thought
I
that was far-fetched,
Yeah.
right? I thought that was really far-fetched. And this idea that uh like men can share one woman doesn't happen in nature, right? Doesn't happen so the idea that one can end up with the other without emotional entanglement for the rest of their marriage is stupid
Yeah.
and devastating and
You're
is
gonna
pure
see them at
fantasy.
you're gonna see them at Christmas and Thanksgiving
Yeah.
and birthdays every year, and it'll just be fine.
Yeah. Oh, I had sex with your dad,
Yeah.
cousin. Like
So
my
odd.
nephew, my niece. It's like, oh, so I hate that. Number two, just Belly.
Yeah.
I just don't think she is desirable. Like, please, if there are any 20 somethings here, please, for the love of God, do not think that she is an it girl. You're not adorable if you're like Belly Conklin. She is
No.
chronically manipulative, even if
Yeah.
she's unaware of it. She is like chronically indecisive,
Mm.
which is evident in the whole movie. And she is just like totally ungrounded in who she is. She doesn't know who she is without any of them,
Yeah.
yet she pines for them and they pine for her and they fight over her and they wait for her and she defies biology by chasing after them in their own different ways. So this is not a woman who is actually feminine. She's chaotic. She's
She's very
clingy.
chaotic.
She does not have a good relationship with her mother. She
Hmm.
sort of like, is her mother's roommate, like I've said before.
Mm.
And, a woman who doesn't know who she is or what she wants is is
She's going
is
to bring chaos.
chaos, is chaos in a marriage. So good
Yes.
luck, Conrad.
Yeah.
Good luck. You asked for it.
I
Well,
will
you
give
attracted it too.
I will give her this. She's joyful and playful. Um,
Yes.
that
Okay.
is a beautiful quality of hers. And I was really interested
Yes.
in the sports psychologist storyline. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like you got hurt
Yeah.
from volleyball and now you're interested in that. I kind of wanted to hear more about that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, let's give
Yeah.
her some depth. Oh no, we're
Exactly.
just going to breeze past that.
We're
Okay,
just
cool.
we're just gonna talk about how she is attached and like emotionally like distraught her whole 22 years of life since birth that they've been on vacation in this toxic beach house,
She was
which
not.
apparently they go home to at the very end, right? And
She's
then
just doing it for the house, Martine. We all know that.
she is for
She
the
doesn't care
bag,
which
for the
brother it is as
house.
long as she gets the
She,
house.
I saw a review where, the angle here was she bagged it.
Yeah.
She bagged like the estate, like the trust fund, and all of it. But anyway, the last point is the moms.
Yeah.
I do not like women ruling the roost, basically, which is what happened. And it's emphasized in the beginning of the show. Our dads are never there. They're just there for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And so they're actually carrying the emotional weight of everyone without being healed themselves. So the kids grow up in a world where their
Yeah.
models of relationship are these female to female emotional bonding and feminized male
Mm,
emotionality. But in reality, like I said, the absence of a healthy embodied masculine is going to underdevelop the children.
yeah.
There's no template for healthy polarity at all. There's
Yeah.
no template for healthy sexual dynamics, right? So my take is it's not, I don't think, okay, yeah, sure, it's a coming of age romance, but I think it's more a cautionary tale about what happens
Mm,
when girls are taught that it's all about me
mm.
with these two boys. Like, so let's not glamorize all of the feelings and the yearn. Yes,
Even
there's a place for that.
even Taylor says that. She says there's more than one story happening here, Belly. You're making it all about you. There's other people involved here that are
Yeah,
going on. She's so selfish and self-centered.
she
She can't
is.
say that.
Yeah. And the last thing is, confusing yearning with love,
Yeah.
confusing
Yeah.
that, which
It's
is
not love.
a tale as old as time. Since when did I start watching these movies? Since 1990. I can't remember the first teen movie I watched, but like
Mm,
since Titanic, which was the
yeah.
most, 1998, right? Since Titanic, like the
Yeah.
yearn, we have got to stop propagating this. Since The Notebook, 2001, was it?
Yeah.
2000, right? Like it's just 25 years of like this crap, like pulled, like we have to like remove this veneer, like from the eyes of like
It's
romance,
even earlier than that. You
right?
go back to like Jenny Han mentions it in this series where she talks about Sabrina with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck.
Oh
Like she's
yeah.
she's just playing out the
With
same.
David,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's
Hmm.
just playing out the same thing as that. Look, I'm not immune to the yearn. I have been in the yearn. I've spent 10 years in a yearn. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's I don't have the answer for you of how to stop that other than awareness. Other than
Awareness.
and just like coming back to reality. My
Yeah.
thing was always my most damaging thing was I was a bit of like a Susanna. I was always like the fantasy is
Oh,
so
okay.
great because it just reality was really harsh and really hard because I had a disconnected, mother relationship. So
Yes.
I wanted to be in this fantasy where everything worked out, but it also made me very easy to manipulate because all you had to do as a man was to say, "Yeah, I want all of the things that you just said you wanted," and I was like, "Great, we're made for each other." I was so easily propagandized and so easily manipulated. And I was like,
Yeah.
"This is just like this movie."
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
So, folks, go watch it
yeah.
after this if you haven't. I mean, I assume you've all watched it, but when you watch it again, if you can bear with it,
Mm. Watch it with
right?
awareness.
Watch it with awareness, watch it with the knowledge of your own wounds, right? And it hits differently. It just
Mm.
hits differently. So,
And this is what I think you're so right. This is like a cautionary tale, and props to Jenny Han because she's written real life. Very this is not good, but it is very
not good.
common. It's not
Yeah.
normal, but common. Common, not normal, is what we need to distinguish. We see these dynamics play out all the time in real life. We see women like Laurel, we see women like Belly, we see men like Conrad and Jeremiah and Adam and John. We see it all the time. Martine would see it 1,000 times in her practice, where her relationships that she has come in, like, and people that message her and all this kind of stuff. So this is not just like a fantasy. This is such a good learning experience for everyone,
Yeah. It is a
mothers
learning
and daughters, to
experience.
sit down and watch this and go through it
Hmm.
because it's real. It's really real. And
Yeah,
this is what happens when you don't do the inner work.
exactly. So
Yeah.
stay awake, guys. Stay aware.
Yes.
Okay, awake is kind of like, it's got its own little tinfoil hat category there.
Yeah.
But like, you know what we mean, right? Do not be just taken by the romanticism
And the
of it all.
songs.
It feels good. And the songs do feel good. Honestly, like that's what kind of got me that, oh, like this song,
Yeah.
but yeah, always good to be reminded of, okay, like we're adults now.
Mm.
I am 46 watching this. So like and the patterns are really evident. So enjoy
Yeah.
though, enjoy, if you're gonna watch
Oh
it.
yeah, enjoy
Enjoy.
it. I enjoyed watching
Yeah.
it. I watched it again
Yeah.
and
It's
I
very entertaining.
100%. And even the
Yeah.
second time I watched it, and I really thought this time I'm going to try and see if I can get on Team Conrad. I'm going to really like be generous with him and really like.
Yeah.
And no, I can see, I can understand, but I think that just shows regulation when you're like,
Yeah.
I can understand you and I get it and I feel for you, but no,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm accepting that in my life. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. And thank
Right.
you,
Well,
Lauren. I
yes,
always
thank
have
you.
so much fun.
I know.
And I hope we can, like, maybe one day we can review the old movies that set the stage for all of this,
Martine, should we
kind
start
of
our own
thing.
little side podcast of
I
just
know
like
about like
analyzing media?
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
do a series.
Yes. All right. We're going to chat about that
Okay,
more
honey.
offline.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll talk to you next time.
Bye.